Htp family. Can you guys hear me? I had no idea that time already came up. So what we're going to do, right, is we are going to... I'm going to remind you first and foremost that I'm part of a podcasting network. All right? So let's do that.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Pro-Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio.
All right, let's see. So today is, of course, Enemies Within, episode 12. We're going to be discussing Nature Boy in jail. Who the fuck is he? Right? And, of course, this Ugandan BAN. I'm thinking this is going to be the BAN of the week. But the Ugandan BAN gives white woman a deal of the century, right? So he goes, may I... Well, no, this is not the real dialogue, but it goes, may I offer you all of Uganda's coffee exports for 10 years tax-free? And she goes, don't mind if you do, BAN. You know? Anyway, so we're going to jump right into it. Let me see. I kind of wanted to play the intro song, but it's not starting up. So, I'm just going to show you. Of course, you're on the Pro-Black Perspective. Make sure you guys check out all of the other shows as well. And let me just turn my phone onto these devices, man. Let me just turn my phone onto silent because I guess people, everybody wants to write you as soon as the show starts. Like, yo, is the show starting? Or whatever. All right. But anyway, Pro-Black Perspective. So yeah, we're on Pro-Black Perspective, and we're just going to hop right into it, real talk. Let's see. Let me see if anybody's in the chat as well. But let me first open up this page so that you guys can see what's going on. Today is April 17th, episode 12. Nobody's in the chat just yet, but, I know somebody's here. So, peace, fam, whoever you may be. And we're going to actually start off with this. This is nice. We started off with some allies today. So, we got two allies today. I know there was a conversation about Kagame on Twitter. That's fine. Good for you guys. But Kagame is an ally. Let's get it straight. So, one love, one currency. All right? So it's like, y'all might be singing. Oh, yeah, by the way, I might start singing more because of Malema. Malema's one of the allies as well. So, we'll start singing more because of Malema. But, y'all be all, one love, right? Well, Kagame gonna tell you it's one currency. So we're gonna look at this. We're gonna check this out and see why I go on. All right. Let's see why I go on. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So he says, look, as long as Europe and America control our money, they will control our economy. We need African common currency backed by our resources and not by dollars or by euro, right? And that's Paul Kagame. That's the president of Rwanda. And I want people to understand there's a difference between me, because I said the same thing, okay? It's a common theme, but I think I said something along the lines of whoever controls your currency controls your commerce, okay? Whoever controls your currency controls your commerce, and that's just common sense. Right? And so the same as, as long as America and, Europe control our money, they're going to control our economy. Common sense. Right? So, but there's a difference between me saying it and the president of Rwanda saying it. Because that's already telling you that when you are there, right? Because see, here's the thing I want y'all to understand. Every African leader, sorry, pause. Every every decent leader on this planet is a philosopher. Decent and indecent. Every decent and indecent leader is a thinker and a deep thinker at that. That's the thing I picked up on as I started reading, some of these, communists and the fascists. when you start reading these communists and these fascists, you begin to realize that they have deeper thoughts than you normally attribute to, what would you call, what would otherwise be characterized in the West as mass murderers and psychopaths. You might be like, hey, I remember, one of the quotes that was popular when I was younger was with Stalin, where Stalin goes, hey, you need to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. And you don't know what he's talking about, or you don't know if he really said it. But the idea is that, yeah, I'm killing folk, but I'm trying to make something of Russia. And I mean, if you understand the geopolitical landscape of today, whether you look at Mao or you look at Russia or you look at Germany, these are the three countries that came the closest to toppling America. All of them. And if you look at the leaders that they had when they were at their peak, in a sense, Stalin, Mao, Hitler. If you look at their thoughts, you begin to see, hey, you know what? These are not necessarily, these are people who are thinking of problems and trying to find solutions. Now, I know when I say the German guy, you guys are like, wait, are you referencing? No, I'm not referencing that, right? But at the same time, I mean, there were other ideas that these people had. All right, you know what I'm saying? Okay, look like I just got canceled. Why did my internet get disconnected, huh? Let's see who's here. Learning Curve says, one love, one currency. Exactly. Saying it, you understand? Kofi says, greetings. Real Black Gentleman here says, Hotep, PBP. You already know. So yeah. So what I'm saying is this. You got this man. He's like, look. Now here's what I say about philosophers. So Kagame is a philosopher. He's thinking about the problem. He's like, hey, you know what? This is it. Now, what that means is this. When somebody identifies themselves as a philosopher, as a deep thinker, that means that you potentially can work with them if what their deep thought is has a space for you. I want you to understand that. So now, if you believe that you can implement a solitary currency for African people, if you believe that you could implement some sort of currency or some sort of network for currency or currency making or whatever, anything inside of this arena of our independence and our economy, if you believe that you can implement that, this is your guy in Africa. Now some people can say, oh man, maybe he's just saying that to, because look, now another thing is this I want you to understand. Some people could tell you something good just to get you to come out. And then they can whoop your ass. You understand? Some people could do that. Now, I don't believe that's the case here, but I just want you to understand that some people can do that and whip your ass. But you want to understand that this is what was said, and for that, you got to celebrate this brother. You got to celebrate this brother because this is now an opportunity for unity. You have to know, this is why we go back to the rule of warfare, right? One of the rules of warfare is this. The most beneficial thing for you is to take advantage of an opportunity. A lot of times, I'm telling you, a lot of us don't even understand this, but you have to kind of be ready for an opportunity. And then when an opportunity comes, investigate that opportunity. And if it pans out to be an opportunity and not, a trap, you have to take that opportunity. But we're not doing that. We sit in the West scratching our asses. A lot of people were in the comment section or wherever, oh, I don't like Kagame. Well, good for you. Good for you. Right? Here's another opportunity that Kagame is laying out for black folk. Again, you're not even paying attention. We're not even paying attention. Here it says, Rwanda launches center dedicated to artificial intelligence. Necessity is the mother of invention. The Rwandan government seems to understand this more than most with the launch of the Center of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. See, the Center of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. He calling it what an IS is. With the advent of the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the rapid innovations witnessed during the COVID-19 pandemic, this is increased urgency, so on and so forth. Basically, this is the only center in Africa. Okay? This is the only center in Africa, and you guys, like I said, you could check out this link, and you could find all the data points. You see its allies. This is the second. This is E. 3E, if you will. You could check it out on your own. But I want you to understand that these are what we call opportunities. This is not something that too many of us and we're just kind of overlooking it. We're sitting in the West on our hands, on our asses, letting this white boy feed us as we sit and criticize what's going on the continent. As we sit and criticize what's going on the continent. And the actors on the continent. Again, these are opportunities. You have to remember that you are. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that a lot of us don't even like. I tell you, I pick up on this. I don't know how this came about, but a lot of us do not know our positions on this planet. If you in the West, you don't have much. Your position is very nil. Now you have the Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in Rwanda. Only location dedicated to artificial intelligence. And we sitting up where? Doing what? What part of artificial intelligence we got? What part of the Fourth Industrial Revolution are we? What part of that? You saying the Industrial Revolution that happened maybe 200 years ago accelerated Europe into becoming the world power, world influencer. At one point, England, they said the sun never set on the English Empire. Everywhere, around the world, at any given time, there could be somebody who's an English citizen who's saying good morning. The sun followed England, an English influence, because of the Industrial Revolution. And now you got what they're calling the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and I don't think that's a good name for it, but it is what it is. You understand that people use words that are familiar because that helps them. Either way, you have Africa, one country in Africa saying, hey, we're going to lead this, and the institution's open. And you sitting outside in the West, doing what? Scratching your ass, thinking, man, when Africa got power. How you think Africa gonna get power? To ride to. You understand? So let's see. I think I might. Let's see what the third one is. This is Ali Naka. But yeah, like I said, we got. You got to understand that there's people in Africa. Come on. You need to look at the opportunities. Okay, so now this is the last one. So it says, upon his arrival in Jamaica today at the start of the 3-day state visit, President Kagame laid a wreath at the shrine of Jamaica's first national hero, Marcus Messiah Garvey. Right? Now I think later on, Kagame said something like, Pan-Africanism was born in Jamaica, and that's not true. But you know what? I like that he said it. You know what I'm saying? I like that he said it, not because he said it was Jamaica, but because you have to again, this is the deference. This is the same. You have to understand. I'll tell you this way. You know, a lot of people y'all say, hey, those are some good people. They hanging out around a Columbus statue. You know? You know what I'm saying? This man goes to Garvey. Red, black, and green Garvey. Right? And again, like I said, if you want to talk about a philosopher, Garvey was that philosopher of the 20th century. Of the 20th century, the deepest thinker, I believe. The deepest thinker of the 20th century was Marcus Messiah Garvey. But he didn't have the opportunity to lead. His children did. And by children, I mean his ideological children. Nkrumah, Nyerere, Kenyatta. Okay? And now, Kagame is saying, look, I want to join that same esteemed group. I may not be the perfect Garveyite, but if y'all come and help me, this is what allies mean. If y'all come and help me, but we're not listening to that. We're not listening to that. I'll tell you, we're not listening to that. This is the allyship that we have to start really grasping, but we're not listening to that for some reason. Anyway, we're going to go to the next one, which is Malema. Malema, come on. Like another one of our brothers from another mother. Another one of our brothers from another mother. It's our half sibling, but we don't call them half siblings. You know that. We say, oh, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? We just got different mothers, but that's my brother. My lemma right here. You are a foreigner too. He's trying to tell the South Africans, you better stop with this foreign, this old bullshit. If you want to talk about, who's a foreigner. 22 minutes in. So look at this. Now this is different between you and him. Like I remember when I was younger. I was walking through Harlem, and then these brothers, I saw this poster in black and white talking about Mugabe's our hero, and I was like, why would somebody say that? Ain't Mugabe, blah 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 blah. And I didn't say it, but I was thinking that. I was thinking like, what, and it dawned on me. Everything I knew about Mugabe, I learned from this white boy. The white boy was telling me everything I needed to know about Mugabe. He was telling me how to feel about Mugabe. And so Malema's like, no. Ain't no white person gonna tell me. Because Malema's like, look, if you don't like Mugabe, that's fine. I don't like Rhodes, but you celebrate him. You know? I don't like Leopold, but you celebrate him. So if you can celebrate your villains, and Mugabe ain't no villain per se, but if you can celebrate your villains, then fuck you telling me how I can celebrate, who I can celebrate. We're gonna jump to 22 minutes because I tell you, I heard this part and I was like, damn. See, I heard it live, so I wasn't sure if it was gonna be 22 minutes, but I heard it, and so I said I was 22 minutes in. Maybe it's gonna be 22 minutes. I should have checked. I apologize. Because apologizing ain't bad.
An apartment, you come from a flat, you come from with a small bag. Let's go outside, show me papers that us, because you have. What is the definition of a foreigner? A foreigner is a person who comes into your country without papers.
Sorry, let me just write this down. It's 20 minutes and 30 seconds, okay? For those of you who want to see this again, let's go to 20 minutes. Although technically, if you just wanted to see it again, you just play this video. But anyway, let's go.
Doesn't have anything to show. That includes you. You are foreigners because you have nothing to show. You go around claiming this is your country. Let's go outside, show me papers that confirms you are the owner of this country. There's nothing. You don't own anything, yet you call people foreigners. You are a foreigner yourself because you do not own. Foreigners means visitors. Visitors are people who just come empty-handed with a small bag. When the time permits, they go. That's you. You are renting. You are marching from the hostels, beating up people that they must leave South Africa. Yet you do not own a hostel. You are paying a rent in that hostel. You can be removed yourself from that hostel. You are telling people to leave your country. You come from an apartment, you come from a flat, you come from a house, you have no paper. When you return back home after taking out Zimbabweans, the white man will be at the door showing you the way out of the rented flat, out of the rented house, out of the rented apartment. You have nothing to show. Yet you claim this is your country. You have nothing. You are defending a white man's property. This South Africa is owned by a white man. This South Africa is controlled by the white man. Don't tell me this is your country. When people are burning buildings, you are rushing protecting them. Those are not your buildings. Those are white man's buildings. You have nothing. Stop hating on your future employers. These people are going to hire you. They are the most polite people. Even when they are educated, they still work.
But let me actually interrupt before I before I get in trouble and get this video taken down. But because I think when it comes to copyright, you have to the brother was spitting, that. Your brother was spitting, that. But let me I still gotta interrupt, otherwise they're gonna take this video down, right? So what was I gonna say? So Bobby Wright does say greetings, PvP. But you see the difference. See, I know a lot of people oh my gosh, Malema is not perfect. Yeah, I got you. Of course. Like who's perfect? And how could you be perfect on this planet? Either way, let's just investigate what he's doing though. Difference between him and you, or difference between him and me, is that he's standing in front of a large audience of his own people, telling them straighten up, telling them imparting wisdom on them, so that their discipline can improve. That's the difference. The difference, I tell you guys, I'm working on a video game. I told you this before. In fact, let me see if I can pull up this thing. A lot of you might not realize I liked video games when I was growing up, right? And so not a lot of my writing, but some of my writing sometimes goes into the fantasy genre. The fantasy genre is, of course, your Dungeons and Dragons and shit, whatever, right? So in Dungeons and Dragons, there's this idea of separating individuals into 6 main attributes, right? I don't do those same 6 attributes. I like maybe 5 of them, I think. But I decided to make, 8 attributes, okay? And so in 2 of my books, the Pro-Black Compendium and the Book of Power, towards the back, I always I included these 8 attributes, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these 8 attributes, right? And I want you to understand that because see, if I had a chance to write now, if you look at my puzzle book, I also go in depth. I also go into this these 8 attributes and tell you how you can improve in each of these 8 attributes. But also, if you look at what was it? No, I think that's what I was saying about the puzzle book, right? But here's it is. So I'm gonna show you guys this page. Show you all this page. And these are the 8 attributes. Your strength, what you want to improve. Your physique, what is another thing you want to improve. Your agility, your dexterity, right? Those are the physical attributes. Now you have what I call the metaphysical, but whatever you want to call it, right? You have these other attributes of yourself, which is your intelligence, right? That's something that for the most part, you're born with. It develops over time, right? Your wisdom, right? That's something that we are sharing as parents, as leaders, as whatever. It's organizers. We're sharing that wisdom, right? Then you have the discipline, which is, I would say, I'll define it, the ability to commit oneself to a task. And of course, your charm, which is the ability to commit others to a task. And what you're seeing in Malema right here is this charm, this ability to commit other people to correcting themselves towards a discipline of xenophilia. Okay? So essentially he understands, and so essentially he understands that a lot of people are xenophobic. And instead of overlooking that or looking the other way or what have you, he gets up on stage in front of them and demands and reprimands them to the point where they are applauding him. And you might be like, well, that's just his party. It's just a political party, just his political rally. That's good enough. Because this is one of the biggest political parties in South Africa. You might be like, well, no, it's not that big. There's bigger political parties. There's this, that, sort of, so forth. Sure, there is. But you have to understand as well that they are in a deeply colonial and deeply colonized situation where what was it? 85% of their wealth is owned by 50% of the population, that 50% being white. And notwithstanding that, he's rising to the top and rising to the occasion of defending other African people. And then you got to ask yourself, well, what are you doing? I tell you, a lot of times the people out here critiquing the most are the people in the West, people in America mainly, but the people in the West, and the people in the West or people in America, if you want to be honest, they don't have their own independent political party. They don't have anything close to their own independent political party. And they won't have their own independent political party. They won't have their own independent political influence and education and rallies, giant rallies, like they did when Garvey came through. And what this man is doing, because he's imparting that wisdom. And so I told you about philosophers being deep thinkers. He's deeply thinking. He's going to say, hey, look, These people are going to employ you. The foreigners that you're beating, you should not beat them because they can give you jobs and positions. They're coming to build wealth for you and their people. For African people. So I just drank a bunch of water. You know how it is. I was like, shit, I'll play this video and then I'm going to go drink some water. But I can't get in trouble. So let me just read the comments quickly and then we could continue. By the way, how's my audio? Let me know how the audio is. Kofi says African leaders have always been going to Jamaica still. Yeah, of course. You know, and that's the thing though. That's the thing. That's the difference. See, we're gonna talk about Malcolm X later. Right? But see, when Malcolm X goes to Mecca and he makes a scene and he bows at the feet of whatever, Islamic site, we still celebrate Malcolm X. But the real pilgrimage, if you will, is to go to Jamaica and bow to Garvey. See, if y'all look at me on Twitter, matter of fact, look at me on Twitter. See, that's the difference between y'all and me. When you go to Twitter, you come to my Twitter page, right? And the first thing you're gonna notice, even though I don't like socialist. I do not like socialist. I'll tell you that right now. Me and socialists do not mix. Me and the comrades do not mix. Okay? Notwithstanding that, what's my profile picture? What's my profile picture? That's me. That's Nkrumah. And my son was there. Why? Because that's the pilgrimage you're supposed to be doing. You go to Tanzania, you bow at the feet of Nyerere. You might not like socialists, you bow at the feet of Nyerere. You go to Ghana, you bow at the feet of Nkrumah. You humble yourself to because like even if they were alive today, you probably be like, yeah, whatever, man, what's up? You know? Like, I don't agree with you. Get out of here. Right? But these are your ancestors. That's different. You know, like I said, you go to Kagame today, you might be like, hey, what's up, girl? Yo, what's up? You know, I don't really like what you're doing right now. Kagame passes, and then you pass it through Rwanda, you go bow at his statue. Because this man is working for you. And Nkrumah was working for you. Did Nkrumah pocket some money? Sure. Did Nkrumah marry out? Sure. You know? But they were working for you. Marcus Garvey. So yeah, you know, like you said, a lot of leaders go down to Jamaica and bow. Yeah, of course. So that's why the Arab goes down to Mecca and bows at whatever symbol represents his leader, because that leader was working for him. He might be like, I don't totally agree with all that shit that he was doing. I might not agree with this. I might not agree with that. Oh shit, he was killing these people. He was doing that. But it don't matter. He understands that his ancestor put in work for him. That's how we gotta think. Now, if you see Kagame going down to Jamaica, remember, Jamaica is an island in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if you from Rwanda, Jamaica's an island in the middle of nowhere. Okay? The fact that he flies over to Rwanda, says, hey, look, I read this man's work, and I want you to visit his site and bow and credit him with his leadership. Even though I'm in Rwanda, I got nothing to do with Jamaica. I got nothing to do with Jamaica. A lot of the Jamaicans are from Western Africa. I'm in the middle of East Africa. They got nothing to do with me. But I still said, hey, this is my leader. This man did something for me. This man did something for me. So yeah, he went past you, and that's a credit to him. It don't matter if other people do it. The fact that he did it, that's a credit. Because I'll tell you this right now. I got a brother who went to Jamaica. I mean, actually, I didn't get to see Jamaica. I can't hold it against him, actually, matter of fact. I don't know where that boy outside is either. I was a little young when I went to Jamaica, though, so you can't. But still, what I'm saying is that's respect, Look, I went to Ghana and did the Nkrumah thing, okay? Twice. A couple of times, matter of fact. All right. We're not going to go into that. Let's just change the subject. Let's see the comments is. All right. So, Bobby Wright says, we want our leaders to be perfect, but have no problem respecting Mzungu. No problem respecting Mzungu, who plot our destruction with their hidden agenda. No problem. You know what I'm saying? You just got to give these black folk an audit. See how much they paid in taxes. How much they gave this white boy? How much they handed this white boy over in taxes? And then be like, so you got a problem with Africa for what? You got a problem with this African leader for what? You gave how much money to white boy? How much money did you give to Africa? You didn't give shit to none of these African people, but you want them to bend over for you, and then meanwhile you giving all this money to this white boy and complaining about how he don't do shit for you, or complaining about how he got everything and you got nothing. Well, duh, if you giving him everything you got, why wouldn't he have everything and you have nothing? You don't want giving him shit. I'm saying, you got no problems supporting these white boy. We can't allow perfection to become good's nemesis. Exactly. You can't allow perfection to be good's nemesis. Now, I'm being told that audio was good and audio was fine, so I'm gonna keep it up. Let's see. Let me finish up with what I was saying before we change the subject. But this brother,
For small jobs that pay nothing, they don't have pride. They know that you have to work to serve and feed your families. That's why they are here. One day, like it almost happened in Cuba when Obama wanted to lift the embargo against Cuba. One day it is going to happen. I pray to the ancestors of the revolution that it happens when I'm still alive, so that I can replay these videos and say, I warned you about harassing your future employers. I warned you about exploiting the people who are going to share their land with you, because they've done it before. Why didn't Mugabe take the land immediately? He waited for you to get your freedom. Because had Mugabe take the land immediately, it would have caused a serious problem to a point where South Africa will not be liberated. They were a frontline state.
all right. So I think I was going to play this part where he talks about I don't know when it comes, so I'm not going to just play everything. But he talks about how you help your neighbor and then you come back and collect from your neighbor eventually. Your neighbor comes along and says, hey, can I borrow some beans? And you like, sure. Hey, can I borrow some beans? You like, sure. I can borrow some beans. Sure. And then eventually when you need beans, you go to them and say, your child goes to them and says, remember, my father sent you. My father sent me, said that, he gave you a lot of beans. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, that's the African way. Or that's the way that we've done it. And I want people to understand that, this is a deep thought. This is a deep thinker among our people. And it might not be, and again, like you might look at it, you might be like, well, it's not that deep. That's fine. You could think that. But again, there's a difference between you thinking that in your apartment or whatever, right? And then you thinking that in front of an audience. A real audience. A real political party. You understand? That's what we have to really start becoming a part of. Real political parties, real think tanks. Not just conversation. That's the thing that I be seeing on Twitter is just a bunch of conversation. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not really about conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm about conservation. See the difference between it's just the word, it's just the letters up. I'm not about conversation, conversing. I'm about conservation, conserving, protecting our people. And how are we going to do that? But we need to have a people to protect. And see, what Malema's doing, what Malema shows you is that, hey, look, I am trying to lead South Africa into a future that is xenophilic, that is Afrophilic. And I know I shouldn't be using no Greek words, but you understand what I'm saying. There's a society that loves Africans. That's the future that he's trying to bring about in South Africa. And people are going along with it. And you might say, hey, I love Africans too. Shit, last night I was, shit, You can do that. You can say that. That's fine. But there's a difference between doing it in your little bedroom or in your bedroom, your big bedroom, whatever you want to. I don't want to belittle, right? Doing it in your bedroom and doing it on a podium. And of course, there's two different types of doing it, but we're gonna move on from there. But those are the allies of the week. Oh yeah, no, I forgot. So at the end, man starts singing, and so yeah, I'm gonna say that we might start singing more on this program, maybe not, but
If we destroy this one another, give the in permanent peace, permanent power, because those of us who are remaining will continue his legacy. Rest in peace, President Mugabe. Amandla! Amandla! Viva EFF, viva! Ayule EFF, ayule!
maybe he didn't sing. I don't know. Maybe I was tripping. I don't know. Maybe he does sing. I don't know. Who cares? Let's just go. I know some of y'all heard I was gonna start singing, and y'all was just. Anyway, so we gonna go straight forward. Let's see what's going on. Tanzan is here. Tanzan says greetings, brother. So greetings, Tanzan. Nice to have you here. We're gonna just jump right into it. This is actually the BAN of the week. So the BAN of the week is going to start off for us. BAN of the week is this Italian and coffee guy. So if y'all see the ad, y'all gonna see the people involved. This one gonna come from Sister Ama. Look, it goes. This is him right here. If you see the picture in front of you, that's him. This is the lady that's gonna give all the coffee to. Okay, so let's go back to the internet or whatever. Right? She goes, why would I do this? Now here's the article. It goes, this year, the year is 2022, and Uganda's giving an Italian company freedom of the entire Ugandan coffee industry while exempting the company from taxes, right? So this is a clip snip from an article. It says the Speaker of the Parliament, Anita Among, has directed the Committee on Trade, Tourism and Industry to probe a controversial coffee agreement signed between government and Ugandan Vinci Coffee Company Limited. According to the agreement signed on 10th of February by Finance Minister Mattia Casaggia and Italian investor Enrica Pinetti. So if I'm not mistaken, those are the two people on the graph. Well, Enrica Pinetti is the lady on the graph, but oh man, I said lady instead of girl. I corrected myself. That's crazy. But she look old as a motherfucker. All right. On behalf of UVCC, the coffee company retains the exclusive right to buy all Ugandan coffee. So this white woman got company rights, exclusive rights to buy all of Uganda's coffee. This black man gave her that. So, raising a matter of national importance to the Parliament on Tuesday, 12th April, Honorary Abed Bayanika, the Member of Parliament, Kimanya Kabonera, said that the agreement alienates Ugandans from the coffee business and gives the monopoly of purchase and export of coffee to only one organization. Bawinka said that the company is also exempted from all taxes. Now, that's the stupidest thing I heard. Now, if anything, you're going to want taxes. But now the company's exempt from taxes, given a special tariff as far as electricity is concerned, and all these provisions violates the laws of Uganda. He called on Parliament to prevail on this and on the said agreement to protect coffee environment. So not only are they going to not pay taxes, which means that you're not going the business is not going to profit the Uganda, right? Beyond the initial purchase, I guess, right? But beyond that, not only are they going to not profit Uganda, right? Not only are they going to forbid the Ugandan people from participating in the coffee market, right? But on top of that, they're going to get electricity at a lower rate. And this is a black man who signed this. And this is something I want people to understand about the real world versus the imaginary world. In the real world, this stuff happens. And you have to engage the real world accordingly. You can't think up, because again, what the Parliament member said was, "Hey, this is against the law." In the real world, people break laws, notwithstanding the fact that you have laws. And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do if somebody breaks your law? What are you going to do? I'm asking you. Because a lot of you, it's like, I ain't going to do shit. And that's why they do it. So this is the article right here if you want to check it out. Let's see if we could look at it for 2 seconds. Let me see what the comments are like. Okay, ain't nobody said nothing, but that's fine. Right here. MP queries. Look at this motherfucker. Coffee deal between government and also this lady also gave a hospital too, or something like that, or like funding the hospital or developing a hospital on top of everything, right? So it says MPs have raised concerns over an agreement signed between Ugandan, the government and Uganda, and so on and so forth, right? The Secretary of the Treasury. So this is according to the document, Ramath. So this is Ramathan right here. Yeah, this is Ramathan. The Secretary of the Treasury signed on behalf of the government, while Enrica Pinetti, board member, an Italian investor and board chairperson of Ugandan, the chairperson of Ugandan Vinci Coffee, right, signed on behalf of the government. Pinetti is the woman behind the stalled Luboa hospital project. So the government, so she goes, and I'm telling you, look, investor promissory note, 379 million. And again, like I said, money talks. We talk about this wealth thing. Wealth talks. You can say all you want. How much you got? $379 million? And you like, no, I don't have $379 million. I got $20. I got $379 million. I got $50. You should listen to me. Hear me out before you hear this woman. I'm going to develop your economy, Africa, because I got $50. I got $50. Don't listen to nobody with $370 million. Don't listen to any business with $370 million. Listen to me. I have $50. I'm by myself and I got $50. Listen to me. I'll tell you how to fix your economy. That's how we are. That's how we are. Same investor received promissory notes to a tune of $379 million for the construction. And this is for the construction of a hospital. We say, hey, man, you heard that though? $379 million for the construction of one hospital. A hospital. Y'all paying attention to what I just said? A lot of us be like, hey, man, in my ideal society, we'll have we'll have one hospital per 10 people. Every 10 people the population has, they'll have one mega hospital. Now, of course, that sounds ridiculous. Everything sounds ridiculous. If you ain't got no wealth, everything sounds ridiculous. If you got the wealth, that you could do it. You could give everybody their own personal hospital. If you got the wealth, if you got the wealth, you could do it. And it might not sound like a good idea. It don't sound like a good idea, but if you have the wealth, you could do it. If you have the wealth, you could have everybody have their own personal machine. I was watching this. I was minding my business, watching some videos. I guess YouTube gave me an ad of some device, like you breathe into it, and then it tells you what you need to eat. It tells you what you need to eat. How your carb is, what's your fat distribution, how your weight loss is going. From the last time, it's interesting. I would tell you guys the name, but I don't advertise white folk stuff. Either way, like some people would look at it and be like, well, that's just the robots taking over or some shit, right? And it could be. Other people look at it like, hey, that's an interesting business idea. Some of y'all are probably thinking about searching it and trying to get it yourself. Either way, you could have that machine, hook it up to a delivery service, and it deliver the meals that it recommends. Now, of course, it recommends a bunch of white meals. It don't recommend no black rice or jollof or oxtail. It don't recommend none of that stuff. It recommend sherbet and ice creams. Whatever it's called. Granolas. I don't know the white people stuff, but you get what I'm saying. It's gonna do that. But the point is that could be your personal hospital in a sense. Or if you're rich enough, you could have a android who checks on you and your medical record the same way. But the conversation is moot if you don't have the wealth. You understand what I'm saying to you? If you can't afford a $400 million hospital, don't be talking about how many hospitals you're gonna build. Because $400 million means if you're building 3 hospitals, you talking about $1 billion. You talking about $1 billion and years of construction, and you got to pay for the construction of these things. It's not no cheap. It's not I could just say then the hospital gonna do it. Now again, they're not collecting taxes, so what they gonna pay with? But it is what it is. I do recommend you guys read this article. I didn't read it personally, but I mean, if you're interested, go ahead and read it. I don't care. This motherfucker's the BAN of the week. We're gonna go to this next one. A lot of you are not gonna agree with this one, and that's fine. I don't need a consensus. Okay, I don't need a consensus. A lot of you are not gonna agree with this, but I can't walk in Harlem right now. I can't walk around Harlem now. What does that mean? Let's just check it out. Actually, you know what? This was not that important. Yeah, let me just skip over this one. Don't worry about this one. This was not important. Let's just skip over this. This is not necessarily enemy of the week, so I'm just gonna skip it. Let's just go over to the next one. Let's say, this one's interesting. So it's like, say what you want, right? Because we're talking about economics on Twitter. We talking about economics, right? So I say what you want, but the rating system is nice. So here's this story. This is a story. It's actually trending in Nigeria. So one thing I did in Twitter, I want to show you guys. One thing I did in Twitter was I changed my trending list, right, to be Nigeria stuff, right? Oh, okay, it's not trending right now. So like this is trending in Nigeria, South Africa. Trending Pastor Kumu said, all that kind of stuff. This dude texted something. What's this? All you need to know about.
Of embassy. Nearly a month before this bombing, the F-117 night.
Okay, he's just talking about some bombing. All right. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. This is a conversation that was trending for a minute. If you look it up, it's called Zainab. Oh, shoot. It's bumbucklad. Yeah, I tell you, I don't like this internet stuff. So all this time y'all couldn't see my screen? All right. Anytime y'all can't see my screen, I'm looting my screen. Let me know, okay? But anyway, so damn, so y'all missed that article, did y'all? All right, hold on a second. Let me see if I get the article back just quickly. I'll just show you the highlight that I had before. This is the motherfucker right here I told you about. And this is right here. I said $279 million, right? So if you want, you could go read this article. But $279 million, right? Anyway, so back up this. So like I said, this is how you do the trending. You could change the trends from American celebrity bullshit to Nigerian celebrity bullshit. But it's easier because you don't recognize, like you might not recognize the American celebrities, but you damn sure don't recognize the Nigerian celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck is that? Right? Anyway, so this is one of the other BAN, and it's not Zainab, but we have to understand. Now here's the issue. Here's the issue. I'll tell you this, right? When it comes to this story, like this story reflects reality and not the fiction that we tell ourselves, not the imaginary world that we tell ourselves. So this is a woman, her name is Zainab. She's from Nigeria, right? She's like, look, it's high time I told this horrible experience I had in Zanzibar as a young solo female traveler. So the incident happened a year ago in April of 2021, but I haven't been able to talk about it because I've been in therapy for a year to heal from the psychological trauma as this experience, right? Now, if you read through it, right, and we're going to just skip through it, she goes to Zanzibar on her own for her 23rd birthday, okay? Flying from Lagos to Zanzibar, okay? Lagos, Nigeria to Zanzibar, right? She goes into this nice hotel. It's like, damn, this is nice, right? She minds her business. I guess she sees some Russian couple, some white people there at the hotel. Tells them this is her birthday. She hangs out, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Around 12 a.m. I'm guessing this is, midnight, right? So around 12 a.m., a few friends and family called and wished me happy birthday, and I went back to my room to sleep. Few hours into her sleep, right? Started to feel a strange hand touching my breast. Now, this was me sleeping naked on my bed in my hotel room with my doors locked. This was definitely a dream. You can't be, why is somebody touching me on my birthday? Why is somebody touching me in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping, right? Told myself and went back to sleep. Some few minutes afterwards, I start to feel my hands stroking someone's penis. At this moment, I opened my eyes to confirm it was actually a dream or I was in danger. To confirm if it was actually a dream or I was in danger. Lo and behold, it wasn't a dream. It was a naked man lying on my bed and touching me at 2 a.m. in my hotel room. He started calling me baby. And I became scared because the room was dark and I had to switch off, whatever. Now I was extremely scared. Now you might be like, well, that's the Russian couple, right? But it wasn't. The dudes only talk Swahili, right? Fast forward she's worried about whether she's going to get raped. She tells him, hey, HIV, I got HIV, right? And he kind of like stops, he's like, okay, I'm going to go get a condom, I guess, right? And he leaves the room to go get a condom. She decides, yeah, I'm going to get the fuck out of here, right? She runs out and she because like I said, she's begging this dude not to rape her, right? And this is the real world. I want you to understand, this is the real world. It's not the pretend world. It's not the, African people are so good and everybody is good and everything is good and, Africans are only bad, Africans are only good people and Europeans are only bad people and all that stuff. This is the real world. The real world, we're going to keep going, right? So she goes and she's like, look, I can't, no, at least get a condom or something, right? And so he goes out of the room to get a condom. She runs the fuck out. Okay, she runs out and she goes hide out in this white boy's room, right, in the Russian's room, right? Again, like you said, this is actually trending, so you could join the conversation with whomever. I think somebody recommended I look at the quote tweets, but I didn't look at it. Let's see. So anyway, then later on, she's like as she's trying to sneak out of her room, she notices security men, right? And so instead of what you would think, some of y'all might think, hey, I'm gonna run to the security man. You don't know who the fuck it is. It was dark. It was nighttime. Maybe the lights weren't on. I don't know, but it don't matter. Even if the lights were on, you don't know nobody. The security man could be in on it. So she goes, I'm getting outside the room. I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make my way to the reception. And here's the thing I want you. Here's the thing. In fact, let's go. Way to the reception, but then I saw two men who happened to be security men standing outside by the poolside having a conversation. I wanted to go meet them to tell them I had just been attacked by a stranger in my room. But then I thought to myself, what if this was the person who actually attacked me? Then I became extremely scared because I have to find a way to get to the reception without these men seeing me. And the reality is this, that a lot of people, and this is the thing that you want to know about women or just humans in general, is that a lot of people don't know how to deal with trauma if they don't deal with it too many times. I can tell y'all this, matter of fact, when I was, one time I was walking in Brooklyn and then somebody just opened fire on a vehicle, I think, and the car flipped over, right? And then the man ran, right? Now, I didn't see what was going on. All I saw, I was walking with my ex-wife, right? Or she was my wife at the time. I was walking with my ex-wife and I see some people running and she sees some people walking. Like, oh, this is Brooklyn, right? I didn't see nobody walking. I was like, everybody running, right? So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do, but I said, time to run around the corner. That's the smartest thing you can do, right? If somebody's shooting over here, then you run around the corner. She, on the other hand, I turn around, I see this woman just walking. Like, active shooting going on. Like, not even like, I see her walking, and I'm just like, come on, like, come on. Like, I'm around the corner, and I had to, like, run back into the crossfire to go get this woman, right? But she's not talking anymore. She's not saying anything anymore. So I ask her, what did you see? What did you see? Because the thing is this, at the time, here's the thing that happened, too. At the time, she was doing one of them, them women's thing, where she wanted to be passive-aggressive. My ex-wife was very, very passive-aggressive, right? Only passive-aggressive, so she want to walk as slow as she possibly can just to irritate me, right? So at the time when we was walking before this gunfire happened, we weren't walking side by side. You understand? Because she was walking as slow as she could to irritate me, and I was just walking at a normal pace. Well, I was walking a little bit slowed down, but kind of like, come on, let's speed up. Let's pick up the pace. Anyway, so I finally run to her side. I'm like, hey, we hide around the corner, and I'm like, hey, what'd you see? And she's like, I don't want to talk. I'm like, what did you see? Then we go on the train. I'm like, all right, cool. What did you see? Then we go on the ferry. Because, how people were in Staten Island, right? So we had to go on a whole boat. We far from the scene of the crime. And I'm like, what'd you see? Because, she's not saying anything. Coming to find out later on, right? A few days later or whatever. Or even a month later. I don't know. Right? I mean, she was talking, other stuff. But a month later, she goes, I thought I saw the guy with the gun come on the train with us. Like, what the fuck? Like, how you ain't tell me this shit? Like, the thing is this, if you know about the train, you don't gotta go. Like, there's like 20 of these motherfucking cars. You could go on the next train. You could do anything. Instead of giving me that important detail, that maybe we're on the train with the same shooter while I'm asking you, what did you see? Right? Because you so scared. You understand? You so paralyzed with fear. Right? You can't even do the intelligent thing. No disrespect to this lady. But I want you to understand that human beings, that when you're in a situation, you don't know what to do. If you don't have the social discipline, if you don't have the military discipline, the military mind. Because see, my black ass, if I actually saw it, because I didn't see the shooter. Because again, I was walking in front, the shoots were happening behind me. She was walking behind, the shots were happening in front of her. So I don't really see what's going on behind me. All I see is I saw a little girl run, really, and I was like, okay, that's the protocol. Everybody's running. Then you turn around, you see your ex-wife just walking, and you're like, what the fuck? And come to find out, maybe she saw the shooter walking to the subway right in front of us. I don't know. And it could be just a hallucination, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But it's an important story. I think that it's an important story. But anyway, so like I said, so it relates to this woman. So where it's like she gets attacked in her room, now she don't know what the fuck's going on. She says, but I thought to myself, what if it's the person who would actually attack me? Then I became extremely scared because I'd have to find a way to get to reception without these men seeing me. Then I started to crawl on my knees and chest around the leaves so no one could see me. When I got to the hotel reception, I knocked on every door, but no one answered me. I was crying profusely at this point because I thought I wouldn't survive the night. How could it be this way? Then she said, almost immediately I remember the Russian couple. I had spent some time with them during the day, and I went to their room to seek refuge. And she hung out in their room, and blah, blah, blah. Now, later on, she does, make a request, a demand, or whatever. And she's she finds out based on the guy's smell who it was, and she rounds up all the suspects and brings them to the police department office, right? And she has video of them and all that kind of stuff. Now here's an interesting thing. I want y'all to understand this too, right? The person who attacks her, as far as we know, or according to her, is the receptionist. So she was gonna sneak over to the reception's office, and if the guy wasn't looking for a condom, she would have been greeted by the guy who attacked her. You see what I'm saying? You understand? Oh, they also stole $1,100 from her. Okay? They also stole $1,100 from her. Which again, like I said, is the real world. In the real world, humans are not flawless. Humans are not like you have to stay like we not paying attention. Like I said with the Malema thing, right? Malema's standing there and he's telling you, hey, you know what? My people are xenophobic. That's the real world. It's not the internet world. Cause some of us are like, hey man, I ain't never heard no diaspora wars until I came onto on social media, and that's true to an extent. But I'm telling you the truth when I tell you that when I was younger, like I'll tell you a fact. I used to date this woman. I brought her up to this restaurant. We eating, and I was like, hey, I hope you enjoyed it. Like what? And I'm just like, what? Right? The same. And again, this is not just a one-time thing. This is a normal thing. This is a normal thing. Part of the reason why we talk about Pan-Africanism and African nationalism and all that kind of stuff is because we know that our people are backwards. We know that our people have villains among them. So what happens is this. Now you might say, hey, well, that's the end of the story. She brought them to the police precinct. Wrong. She said, when we get to the police station, I asked to write my statement, which I did. The policeman asked me to narrate the incident to them, and they advised I go to the hospital to do a checkup if I was raped or not. Okay? They were all speaking Swahili and were asking me questions instead of interrogating the suspects. When I decided to take a picture of the police station and the statement I had written, the policeman started shouting at me and threatening me to delete the pictures I have. I stood my ground and I said I wouldn't delete any pictures. The police chief at the Nungwi police station then said he wouldn't let me take them to the hospital for checkup if I don't delete my pictures and videos. So now she's videotaping them.
The picture of this police station.
This is the police station. Fuck you.
So I'm here at the police station They advised that I go to the hospital.
All right. So she goes, she says, the suspects, the man in the middle wearing a blue tee, named Zanzibar, is Musa, the hotel receptionist. The guy wearing the head warmers by his right is the kitchen staff, while the guy wearing a black and white tee is a security personnel. Okay, so I guess, yeah, so she's saying these are the suspects, these three guys. I thought it was just one of them, but yeah, 3 guys. So one of them's the hotel receptionist. The other one's the kitchen staff. The other one's the security personnel. Basically, they got the key. Okay? They got the key from the hotel, obviously, because they work at the hotel. And then they were going to use it to attack this woman in her sleep. And this is the real world. So, this is the chief of police at Tanzania who deleted all my pictures. Who said I should delete all my pictures and videos. They knew I didn't speak Swahili. Now, she's obviously, feeling some type of way, where they just speak in Swahili. But of course they're going to speak Swahili. Anyway, I didn't delete any of my pictures and videos. Instead, I took more because that was the only weapon I had against them. Started to Google Nigerian embassies, and I called and nobody picked up. The real world is no one's going to pick up. When we got to the hospital, nurse confirmed that there was no penetration. And because there was no penetration, the policeman said, they kept on bullying and harassing me. They said, hey, you weren't raped, so get the fuck out of here. And, so she's going to be shouting. I lost my money.
I'm currently in Zanzibar. Yes. This man, he said I should get out of this police station. They tried to rape me at the hotel, Wairere Beach Hotel. They tried to rape me. They tried to kill me, strangle me, and then they robbed me of my 1,100.
Yeah. So he said this was 3 p.m. This is the Russian guy, Mad chill. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, I need to break this because blah blah blah. The hotel has closed because of the comment section. So essentially, now why did I go through all this? I think eventually you see people are. Oh yeah, so right here they say the Zanzibar hotel is now at a 1.5 rating. Let's get it lower. So basically now the internet is mobilized. Oh, look at that. I mean, sorry, but anyway, the internet is mobile. Your man ain't eat. The internet's mobilizing. Talk about oxtails, boy. All right. The internet is mobilizing, talking about giving them shit. Yo, brother needs some food, right? Internet's mobilizing. They gave I don't know why the thread's not showing. Let's see. Show more replies. Yeah. So what happens that they here it goes. I think. Okay, they got a door alarm. They're telling you that as a woman you should put a door alarm. Oh, you should put door locks and door stoppers in the door, and that's just something I tell you all as well. Make sure you travel with a door lock or something along those lines. But this is what I want to show y'all right here. So it goes. They saw the hotel online, and now they're giving a bunch of reviews to rate it down. And so why did I say that? Why do I show this to you? Right? Why did I show you a story about a woman who escapes an attack, which is good, right? She escapes an attack, and then she has to sneak through and tries to find some sort of safety, but she can't trying to find some safety among our people, but she can't because one, the security staff may be on it, the kitchen staff may be on it, the hotel itself may be on it, right? And then when she goes to the police are not helpful. You understand? This is the real world. When we talk about, a lot of times we talk about the state owning the economy, the state-run economy, the state, so on and so forth. In the real world, if your people do not have a discipline, and your people will likely not have a discipline. If some people are put into positions of authority and power without the sort of discipline that you would require of them, a lot of people will suffer needlessly. If you had a government, but the thing is this, that you'll have no recourse. You understand? You'll have no recourse. If this were a government hotel, right? And it's the government police department. If this were a government hotel and the government police department, where could she protest? This is the only protest she could do. I'll give you 1 star. And then the people, the masses, join on. Let's give these motherfuckers 1 star. It was a 4.5 rating, but because they couldn't defend this black woman, we're going to give it a 1 star rating. And here's the thing I want y'all to understand too. And I don't know how the comments are just yet. Here's the thing I want y'all to understand too. You might say, okay, well, this is a shut and dry case. This is at least they could do this. At least she escaped. at least this, so on and so forth. No! Here's the real world. The real world is this. So people inside of Zanzibar are saying, look at this. This is Zainab enjoying herself in Zanzibar. To help boost my detection work, DM for details. You understand? So as to say, hey, look. We don't give a shit. We don't care. We don't sympathize. We're not on her side. Some people are taking her story and saying, hey, you know what? This is how East Africa treats. This is how East Africans treats West Africans. You have to understand the human condition, the variety and diversity of the human psychology, and the reality that human beings are not these perfect creatures that you may think they are. You may think that they have some sort of divine connection, and maybe they do. You may think they have some sort of supernatural connection, and maybe they do. But the reality is that a lot of our people are dogs. And not the good types. And because of that, you have to engage us in a realistic manner. Not only are we not perfect, but some of us have some glaring imperfections. And there has to be some sort of recourse to that. Because my thing is this. I don't know the veracity of Zainab's story. It seems real to me. I don't know too many people who would lie about their birthday experiences. You know, if she has the proof that she went to this hotel, if she has the proof that there's this interview with this Russian dude, if she has the proof of so on and so forth, it doesn't really seem likely that she would spend her birthday conjuring up lies on a particular hotel. Not to say that it's impossible, but it just doesn't pass a smell test. Either way, the fact that she's actually being attacked afterward, the fact that people are making this into a political discussion about the state of black womanhood and so on and so forth afterward, it tells you all you need to know. Let me look at these comments. We can't see your screen. Tanzan says at the Bit of Medicine podcast, I missed last night's stream. I'll be sure to catch the next one. Yeah, you can look at the replay too, Tanzan. Bit of Medicine appreciates that and says she saw Frank James. Bit of Medicine says she saw Frank James. But yeah. I mean, look, this is the reality though. You know, the reality of our people's circumstances, right? Is that here's the thing. Here's the thing I want y'all to really get from this. And this is it. Nothing's going to protect you on this planet but power. The only protection, again, this is Marcus Garvey. It's not me. The only protection against injustice in man is power. Physical, financial, and scientific. That's the only protection against man. You want a world where a woman can. I mean, actually, I tell y'all this. This was Harsh Reality tells me this was his favorite podcast of mine. It was called. Y'all should go look at this. Back when I still had my Brooklyn accent, right? But anyway, it's something about like white women, something like white women, something. Let me actually look if I can find it. But let me see if I can find it. So we're gonna go to YouTube. Actually, it's gonna be probably pretty tough to find it. Let me not even. What I was saying was this, right? Something about YouTube, right? And what happens is this. These white people, yeah. So I tell you, one time I was in this feminist organization, right? I'm in a feminist organization, and we're protesting outside of bar, and a white boy, and we're protesting because we're like, hey, this white man was raped in this bar, right? And And the white boy comes out like, hey, get the fuck out of, hey, get the fuck from front of my building. Like, get out of here. Stop protesting in front of my building. Right? And we're like, nope, you raped some white woman was raped in this bar, and therefore, so on and so forth. And she goes, well, look, we're trying to, like, why don't you instead recommend women go to the bar with a friend or something, with somebody that they could trust, in order that they don't like get in trouble or what have you, right? Or get attacked or something. And they say, nope, women should be safe regardless of where they go, right? And then the white boy says, well, look, I would love to be safe, wherever I go as well. But I know that if I go to my car, somebody could jump out and attack me. That's why I walk around with a weapon. And the white women were like, well, that's just you, blah, 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 right? And like I said back then, and what I say right now is that you just sound stupid that way. The white boy will tell you the only protection that the white boy has is his power. His power, whether it's physical, financial, or scientific. And nobody's going to have protection unless they have power. And that's why when I tell people, I say, look, people talk about Africa. I don't talk about Africa the same way y'all talk about Africa, right? The way y'all talk about Africa is, I'm just going to go there and I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And the way I talk about Africa is I say, hey, look, we have to go places where we have the potential for power. Because if you don't have the potential for power wherever you are right now, and I mean real power, physical, financial, and scientific power, if you do not have the potential for power wherever you are right now, you are going to get screwed and no one is going to give a shit. They're going to get screwed. If a white woman could go to a bar and get attacked in the bar, taken to the back, killed, murdered, whatever, right? In her own country, what you got? So again, like I would recommend, hey, you're going to a hotel, get yourself a door bolt, get yourself a product to lock the door behind you. Don't go by yourself if you could help it. Right? And the reality is this, the police are not going to necessarily be your friend. Why would they be your friend? In an ideal world, an ideal circumstance, sure. But in the real world, no. And that's just on that. That's just on that. Anyway, we're going to go to the ABA now. Oh, yeah, this one. Shit, this Photoshop's lick. Y'all saw this probably. Y'all already saw this on the, y'all already saw this. But this right here is the Photoshop is slick. Let me see what the comments are like. I believe it was the episode 9, How Black Feminism is Stupid video. Yeah. So that's the video. Make sure you guys check out episode 9 of the pro-black perspective. So that means you go back to the beginning and you look at the 9th episode, and yeah, that's Harsh Reality's favorite, allegedly. But let's keep going. Shit. See, I knew y'all motherfuckers engaged this person too much. So it looks like you're unable to view this because the account limited, so on and so forth. You can't see it, but I think I predicted this, and gave you guys another resource to get it. Because y'all just be like harassing the folk when they put up the evidence. And it's like, that's fine, I get it. But here's the thing now, that I can't see it, when I'm trying to talk about it. But it's all good. So here it goes. So I say the Photoshop is pretty well done. Black people are being targeted and black people are being used. Must be a day that ends in Y, right? So he says, pretendians, ADOS, FBA, put South Africa first. Peoples have one thing in common. This is Jess, by the way. So she's spreading false propaganda against other black people. Also, with how well this Photoshop was executed, I'm pretty sure that there are infiltrators who are watching and adding more fuel to the fire. So you see this. This is what the picture this white woman put up, and not a white woman, black woman, right? She put up this picture, and she said she got it from World Star Hip Hop. If y'all remember World Star, that's what I'm saying. Y'all couldn't stop World Star Hip Hop. World Star Hip Hop for I think maybe 10 years ago was one of the biggest things, and y'all couldn't even stop it to the point where y'all just decided, okay, let's just ignore it. Finally, after bigging it up. Right? But at the same time, I don't know how big it is now. I don't know. But the reality is this, that y'all don't stop anything. If this white boy opens up a website just to make black folk look like fools, it's going to thrive and you're going to help it thrive. So this woman says, this is what she saw on World Star Hip Hop. I don't know if y'all remember World Star Hip Hop, but World Star Hip Hop was basically a cesspool. Just, like for instance, back in the day, if two people started fighting, a kid might shout out World Star because they understand that they're going to be able to upload this video on World Star in order to show that black folk are just a bunch of fighting idiots. I don't know if it's still going on. It probably is. I don't care. I just said tune it out. But look, somebody comes out and says, hey, you know what? I found this on World Star Hip Hop. Banda de Haitiano Nazis in Chile. Now, I don't know if that's perfect Spanish, but it looks like a band of Haitians, a band of Haitian Nazis in Chile, right? Now, maybe that's not even real, but that's how, it's supposed to be legible for an English speaker, right? So, you got these Haitian folk standing in front of swastika and a photo of Hitler. Now, it looks good. It looks like a very good Photoshop. But check this out. This is the real picture. You understand? You understand? This is the quality of work that others are putting into your confusion. And you're spreading it on your own. They put it out and say, hey, these niggas are so stupid. They're gonna share the propaganda for us. We're going to get them to share the propaganda for us. And I'll be honest with you. Look, I'll be honest with you. It's not even that great a Photoshop. I could probably open up my GIMP Studios right now. Take this image, right? And do the same Photoshop. The thing that makes this look good is that they faded out this picture a little bit in the background. That's what makes it look good. But this is pretty easy. You already have the red. What you could do is select all these colors, select like all the blue right here, delete it, color it red. Delete this image over here, put in the other images, right? This one is a little bit harder, but what you could do is you could just delete it. You could just delete everything that's not her from behind and then put in the other image. Or what you could do is, I mean, the other thing that they do that's pretty well is the shear. But yeah, you could do that very easily. But notwithstanding, the fact is that somebody, this is what I want you to understand. Somebody put in labor for this. Somebody put in actual physical work. Somebody actually sat somewhere. Either one person or a team actually sat somewhere, took this image, and made it into this image. Just to help confuse you. Just to help propagate some sort of image. And then what do black people do? They propagate it for them. We're at a loss. 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 The account that sent us out, the account that did it, this lady, not even a big account. Not even a big account. Here's another comment. I guess. Let's see what this says. Y'all report this hateful lady and this misleading post. So she says, laugh my ass. The Haitian bum community is trying to get out of them being Nazis. The flag fits, and she's like, clout for you, baby, for USA. The flag fits in with the surrounding, dusty and broke. Take it up with who posted it on World Star. Fuck, I look like photoshopping pics. Photoshop you some fucking food is what you need to do, right? She made her profile private. Now, again, you could have just reported her from jump. But instead, she gets that clout she's been seeking. Now, I wish I could actually see how many followers she has. Oh, I probably can't because I'm not following her. Let me see. Okay, now she has 847. Before she had like 300. Now she's 847. But it is what it is. Yeah. Wolves are not concerned with the opinions of she's. We are, so on and so forth. You can add it to the past me's, I guess. That's it. Let's see. Let's go to the next one then. So this one says, I don't know what this is. I might get in trouble with Disney over this goofy. I might get in trouble with Disney with this goofy. Let's see who this goofy. Oh yeah, this motherfucker. I know what this is. This is that Moore guy. Let me see what the comments are like though. Let's check out the comments. Y'all. Bit of Medicine says y'all. I don't know. Bobby E. Wright says, like Erzuli says another L. Yep. Erzuli says another L. Shit. Real Black Gentleman says, gotta get hip to the PSYOP targeting Africans. All kinds of fake accounts and agents adding disinformation about being fake and being fake and fuck in general. That's it. Now look at this motherfucker right here. Ah, shit. Did I get blocked from this guy? See, I'll be trying not to say nothing. Oh, wait, no. Maybe I blocked this motherfucker. That's what happened. You're not a more no more goofy. So you're not a more no more goofy? All right, motherfucker goofy is a motherfucker. Look at this. This is some guy. So I muted him. Or I blocked him or something. Wait, let me see. What did I do? For some reason I couldn't see his tweet, so I don't know what it was. Oh, no, I don't know what's going on. I probably just couldn't see it. Oh, maybe I just muted the word more. But anyway, it's like these Moorish dudes at the Cali task force. Get this guy out of here, right? He's like, these clowns are coming up here to plug their doctrine. This is not the place for that. Shaking my head. Everybody else is speaking to the issues that clowns are promoting their movement and their leaders. Why are these Moors coming up to the task force taking all the stupid shit instead of issue of reparation, right? This is him. like the thing about our people, look, I want you to understand. The thing about our people is that they like here's the thing. I want you to get this. Get off your soapbox. Until you like the only people that should be leaders, I'll tell you this. Only people that should be leaders are the deep thinkers. I'm not trying to mimic what Plato was saying, but I think what Plato was saying, for those of you who might be familiar with this philosopher king concept, right? Well, Plato was talking about Egypt, right? Plato was talking about Egypt. He was like, hey, in Egypt, the leaders are actually, deep thinkers. The leaders are actually well studied. Some for multiple years. They go through years of schooling. Some people say 40 years of schooling before they even think of being scribes and writers and leaders and so on and so forth, right? Like that's the ideal society. That's what Plato was talking about. He's talking about Egypt. The problem with us as a human group or as a westernized people is that all of us go up on stage and all of us say anything whenever we want, whenever we feel like it. So this man fully dressed up as a Moor, and now that the reparations issue is coming up, he's calling everybody else, what are you fucking clowns doing? Get out of here, man. We're talking about reparations now. And then tomorrow it's going to be something else. But see, when you can get scanned by a people, they become the president and co-founder of the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen plus Be the Power, or the Frederick Douglass Republicans. That's what happens. But you don't want to listen to me. You don't want to hear me. These are the, like I said, I might get in trouble with Disney. Because this is motherfucking, because I'm showing you Goofy right now. That's not good. This is another one. This one's actually Turning the Sheet, talking about only black folk in America got culture. Is it that important? Not really. Let's just skip over it. Fuck it. It's just Tariq Nasheed being Tariq Nasheed, but fuck it. Like I said, a lot of this stuff I put up because, I wasn't sure how the week's gonna go. If there's gonna be any good news coming out. But here's the thing. So now you got this. This is my man's Rakim Shabazz. I was actually on his program. I ain't get invited to no more programs. I've been on like 2 programs last year. Now I ain't on no more programs. So this is the story. It was one of the headline stories, I guess. It's actually the other headline story. This is Nature Boy is in jail. Laugh my ass off, right? So let's see what this is about. So yeah, make sure y'all check out Wise the Dome TV. A nice brother. Good brother about the work, about the family. Let's go. So this is it. Oh yeah. So why do I want to show you guys this? So these are the motherfucking cultists. So cultists, I don't know if y'all noticed. This is one thing y'all don't know about me. I do not like cultists. I don't like cultists. So I don't know who this man is, but he's a cult leader. He's a cult leader. Now I thought there was a video here. It's not playing for some reason. These motherfuckers. So let me reload this thing. See if I can get this video to play. Suspected cult leader arrested on rape, false imprisonment charges during DeKalb County raid. All right, so it's not playing. Hold on a second. Let me look at the comments. I think maybe some people are gonna talk about this. If y'all know who this dude is, this Nature Boy guy is, let me know. I mean, you could describe it in the comments. Brothers like, who likes cultists? Bit of medicine, like, shit. Our people love cultists. Because the thing is this. These are African Americans fucking around in a cult. But anyway, gotta get hip to the PSYOP. Let's see. I believe that 40 years of schooling in Kemet was accurate. Yep. He says, Kofi says he was promoting that we all Indian stuff too, I remember. Yeah, I mean, if you can get a buck, like basically what happens is this. You got a lot of black folk who are just damn broken. They're just damn broken. A lot of broken ass people. And what happens is this, that once upon a time the church, which was another cult, once upon a time the church was providing for them to not be as broken. Matter of fact, if y'all listen to yesterday's Shoot the Breeze, Matron was breaking down, why a lot of people was in the church. She was like, hey, look, if you get your ass kicked every day, financially and physically, and the white boy could walk up to your house and sleep with your wife and then tell you to clean up afterward. You know what I'm saying? And he was doing that. Not even laughing matter. He was doing that to you. But the reality is this, that if that's happening to you, then what comes around is that at least when you go to the church, you can be a deacon. At least when you go to the church, you can be a bishop. You can have some sort of position, some sort of status, and you wave that around in somebody's face. Oh, my husband's a bishop. I'm the deacon. But because when you at work and you sweeping up and you picking up trash, you don't got no position. They say, hey, you monkey, what the fuck you doing inside this elevator? Step out when I'm here. And you got to go along with it. I'm mad this video's not playing, though. I ain't going to hold y'all. Because I saw this video and I was like, the fuck? Now, here's the thing I want to point out, too, though. Wait, how I don't have this? Like, I thought I put up another link, too. That's crazy. So this link is not even working for me. That's bumbleclot crazy. Oh, let me see. What's this? Oh, okay. So I said block audio. Allow audio and video. Let me try that. See, because you go... And I want y'all to understand. All right, so it's not playing. All right, so anyways, it's like, here's a 40-year-old man who is known by many names, such as Nature Boy, the Messiah, Master Chief. That's, by the way, Halo. And that's a guy from Halo, a video game franchise, and who was reported on Thursday even called God. But to the DeKalb County jail, he is listed as Eligio Bishop. Bishop was taken into custody by the DeKalb Police Department Special Victims Unit Wednesday evening at home he rents on Arbor Chase. He don't even own it. He rents it. Just after 6 p.m., police executed search and arrest warrants. I came outside. Police were circulating with the helicopters. I'd seen it first. Then I came to the front window, and they are outside with guns pointed at the door, pointed at the windows, blah, blah, blah. Bishop followers believe he shouldn't have been arrested. His followers believe he shouldn't be arrested. Now, look at this. Look at this weird shit. Look how they're standing. Elizabeth Hitchup is an American citizen who has ties to both Atlanta and New York. God is very... And look, these are the people. This is one of the followers. This is the woman probably in the front, right? Because the video is her talking and basically saying what this person is saying she's saying, right? God is very caring being. A very caring being. A very loving being. He's very caring. He's very holy, one of his followers told the thing. According to reports, he used the nickname Nature Boy because of the 1948 Nat King Cole by the same title. Bishop has a heavy social media footprint, having made online music videos and live coaching tapes, as well as soliciting for donations. I remember this guy getting kicked out of Colombia or some shit. They're going to talk about Costa Rica. Bishop is the head of the Carbon Nation, which is either a cult or a black counterculture group, depending on who is describing the organization. First time I heard that, I thought it was kind of cool. Bishop told the thing, me, a black man, a cult leader, I'm from the hood, right? And I want y'all to understand this when we talk about, because we're going to talk about Malcolm X. We're going to talk about Malcolm X, because a lot of us be like, hey, man, because see, I tell you, my list of the greatest Africans is different from your list. My list of the greatest Africans, if I say the top 3 Africans, I tell y'all in my books, almost in every one of my books, I mentioned the top 3 Africans I could think of. Nani, Nzinga, Taharka. Okay? Almost all my books, you're going to see them 3. Somewhere, somehow. Right? But y'all be like, oh man, I like Malcolm, I like Amos, I like thing. That's good for you. But if we really study what Malcolm X, like if you watch this video, you're going to see this brother who sound confused. Who's like, hey, this is our God and blah, 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 blah. You might be like, that's so stupid. But if you really went back in time, that's how Malcolm X sounded. You understand? Malcolm X tells you, he's like, hey, everybody in the Nation of Islam believes that Elijah Muhammad was a God. Everybody in this group right here believes that this Nature Boy dude is a God. We're going to talk about cults. Because see, the cultists are one of the worst demographics in the African camp. But we're going to keep going. Bishop, in the same interview, expressed how his group have been misunderstood everywhere they have gone, including Costa Rica, which they were forced to leave in 2017. We're a group of African Americans that are protesting our conditions by leaving them, he said. They made us look crazy on the internet. The group had not only been thrown out of Costa Rica, but also asked to leave Nicaragua and Panama, according to reports. Bishop and several members of the group were arrested back in June 2020 for violating Hawaii's quarantine policy. They were eventually sent back to California. Carbon Nation members say their follower deep vegan diet and believe, among other things, that all people are different shades of brown. But for every positive thing mentioned online about the group, there appears to be 2 negative criticisms. According to the critics of the group, followers are asked to live as part of a commune-style family, being asked to surrender their money and possessions. Those same critics have said once members are part of the group, they are not allowed to leave. A quick search on the internet will reveal reports of at least 2 such members. This is something current members deny, right? So this lady tells you, this is a revolving door. You can come in and out as you please. No one is going to hold you against your will here, says Kyla Buckner. So I think this is Kyla, right? Look at this weird shit they're doing. But anyway, Bishop remains behind bars, facing charges of rape, false imprisonment, and sending sexually explicit messages. Now, I want you to understand this too. I mean, as much as I completely agree that maybe this guy attacks women. I completely understand. I completely agree. But what I want you to understand is this too. As a woman, or as just a person, basically, you listen to the little video that they had. He's going to tell you, hey, we're a nudist household. We are a nudist household. And as much as I believe in body sovereignty, because I do believe in body sovereignty, I do not believe that you should, force a person to engage in sexual contact with you. I also understand that there's no way I'm going to be laying down naked with somebody and not, like it just don't make no sense for me to be laying down naked with nobody. It don't make no sense for you to be a grown-ass human being and saying to yourself, I'm going to go lay down naked with some stranger. It reminds me of this joke, Mr. Getting Slapped in the Face said, Chris Rock. Chris Rock says, that movie he had, like, with where he's trying to divorce his wife or something like that. And they're at a dinner table, they're having a nice dinner, and he's like, look, I don't think Michael Jackson did any of that stuff, right? I don't think Michael Jackson did any of that stuff, blah, 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 right? And the thing is that the excuse that people have with Michael Jackson is that they were kids. They were kids that laid down with him, so it makes, like you could trust an adult, whatever, right? I mean, you shouldn't trust an adult, but it makes more sense why you'd be so naive, right? Either way, he's like, look, I don't think Michael Jackson did any of that stuff. I think they're just being accused, blah, 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 blah. So then somebody asked him, well, would you let your kids sleep over at Michael Jackson's house? And he goes, fuck no. And that's on that. The reality is that even if you think somebody's completely innocent, even if you think somebody can't do, even if you think somebody wouldn't do something to you, the reality is this. Why would you go over to somebody's house and they telling you, hey, look, man, we a whole nudist colony. We believe in sexuality, blah, 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 blah. And of course, I'm not trying to blame the victim. I don't blame the victim. I think again, like I do think, like I said, personally, I do not think somebody should be attacked on their way to their car, on their way to their vehicle. But if I'm wearing a gold chain, but see, I'm not gonna wear a gold chain and flash a diamond ring while I'm chilling outside my car. You know, there was this guy on Instagram, matter of fact, Instagram or TikTok or something like that, where he's counting his money, like counting maybe $2,000, just broad daylight on his on his Twitter feed or whatever, Facebook feed or whatever. Then somebody comes up, two people come up, roll up on him with a gun, and say, "Give me that money." And I'm not for that. I don't say, hey, that's a good thing. But I also understand that you have to use your own discernment. You have to use your own common sense in some capacity. Sure, the people who rob them are criminals. Right? But at the same time, and I mean, your behavior does not impact whether or not there's going to be criminals. But at the same time, again, you can't live in a fantasy world. But we're going to keep going. We're going to say Bishop remains by. Actually, let me see what the comments are. If there are any comments. We'll just see what's going on. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Who let's go? The Messiah demigod. Bobby Wright says, Nature Boy, a.k.a. Bishop, leader of the Karen Nation, refers to himself as God, Nature Boy. Nature Boy, a clown, Levero says, he has flair for the extravagant. Woo boy. Folks don't like when you roast Malcolm. What up, Oni? Respect to the chat. Yeah. We're gonna talk about Malcolm in a minute. For those of you who don't have the book. But let's say, Bishop remains behind bars, facing charges of rape, false imprisonment, and sending sexually explicit messages. Investigators said that the charges stem from what the members of the Carbon Nation who recently left the group called the police. Women reported the mistreatment of women. We teach, so some guy says, we teach sexual education and we believe in nudity. See, once you hear that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and this is the thing I don't understand about folk. So if you talk to a sister and you say, hey, you know, I know we just met, but you come to my place, right? She's like, hold on a fucking second. You know, and I hear the thing too. This is the thing I'm thinking about. I'm like, look, if I wanted to sexually assault a woman, I would not invite her to my home unless I wanted to kill her too. You know? But even if I did want to kill her, I just wouldn't invite her to my home because that's the scene of the crime. You know? And the reality is this, that let's say I work like where I'm going to be at night is going to be at my house. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. If somebody want to get me for the crime that I committed and they know where I live, they're going to, just easy. It's just easy. But at the same time, women still say, look, I don't want you. I'm not going to go to your house because I just met you. Right? And that's fine. It makes sense. It's like, okay, let's meet in a public space. That's fine. That makes sense. Because again, you know, regardless of whether or not I could get in trouble afterward, after you give everybody, because here's this thing too, I want you to understand. You give a woman your home address, she gives her friend your home address. She gives her parents your home address. She takes pictures of your home address. She has she has her phone, last known location, last known ping at your home address. Okay, so now you do some dumb shit at your home address, she knows where to find you. If she got killers, she knows where to send them. If she got police, she knows where to send them. You know, unlike if you attack a woman in a club, then okay, you attack her in the club. Guess what? You go to your home and they looking around the club for evidence. The club don't know where you live. You know what I'm saying? But if your house, yeah. But at the same time, like I said, but the reason why I'm telling you this is I want you to understand that women are still cautious about going to your home, which would be one of the safer places for her if you really were on that criminal shit. You know, I mean, in so much as she could always set up some sort of safety mechanism if she knows where she's going to be when she's there. Like if she don't know where she at, or she don't know where you gonna be, you know, tomorrow, then it's not as safe for her. Okay? But she's still cautious. Now, here you go. This dude tells you we teach education, we believe in nudity. We believe in nudity. Once he says we believe in nudity, and then you go and live with him. Like, what the fuck you think? Like, what? You got all this caution. Hey, I don't know you. I'm not going to go to your house. Because, again, a man can still attack you and can still kill you. And you don't want to be attacked. You don't want to be killed. So it makes sense. You still wouldn't go to his house. Notwithstanding the fact that might be the safest place you could meet him. You still wouldn't go because you still don't want to be attacked and you still don't want to be killed. Either way, these cultists not only go to this man's house where it's clear he's nudity. It's clear that he has this superiority complex where people are calling him a god. Notwithstanding that, they still go to his house. He renting. Dumbasses. Anyway, so we teach sexual education and we believe in nudity. So I was saying, I still look at this as, if it's a true allegation, this dude's a piece of shit. But at the same time, we also have to exercise some sort of intelligence where if you have the, like women have the social intelligence to say, hey, I'm not going to go up to your house. I don't know you like that. You shouldn't go to nobody who says that they're a fucking nudist and has a colony, a bevy of women and men waiting around fucking each other. Because a lot of these cults are sex cults. And you should know a sex cult before you even, you should just know what a fucking sex cult is. But see, a lot of us don't understand that. But let's go. We're going to keep going. We teach sexual education and we believe in nudity. That's one of the charges that they're trying to brought against my chief. That's for revenge porn. But the female that was here, the woman that was here, she gave consent to actually release it for sexual education. It's not just like porn. It's for educational purposes. So they videotaped her fucking this dude and then released it. And now it's like, what? Members said everything sexually has happened among adults and was consensual. They said several women come and go from the organization because they don't necessarily like what they learned about themselves. And that's the thing. They blame the women. Supporters of Bishop said this is just another organized attack against him. Police said that they are continuing to investigate the allegations and was actually happened inside the Georgia home. So yeah. I mean, at one point, I think that you see this dude right here standing like a whole queer. He's these motherfuckers, man, they're so fucking cornbally, man. Oh my gosh. All right. So like I said, I fucking hate cultists. Like some of y'all are okay with cultists. Some of y'all are okay with cultism. Some of y'all, oh man, Nation of Islam. Anyway, let's see what the chat goes. Mr. Untouchable says, "What's up? Only respect to the chat." Bit of Medicine says, "Peace on Mr. Untouchable." Mr. Untouchable says, "Peace, Koku. Great live last night." Bobby Wright says, "That's the one problem I had with Brother Malcolm and Dr. Khalid Islam, which is disguised Arabism. Although Malcolm did say, put your religion in the closet." I'm saying Malcolm said that shit, but he was a minister. How many people like if I say, hey, look, I'm the I'm the head of the Yoruba church. Keep your religion in the closet. What? Like if you keep the religion in the closet, I just say, hey, I'm Oni. But we're gonna keep going. This says, praise to you guys on the panel. Cults are almost always sexual. Yeah. So anyway, so we're gonna open up the Book of Power because we haven't done that in a minute. We're gonna turn to page. Let's see what page it is. It's in this document. Page 221. I think that's 221 of the book itself, and not the PDF or whatever. So let's see if we can. Let me just. I know it's not up yet. Let me just turn the pages a little bit. Okay, yeah, it's 221 of the book. All right. So for those of you at home, with the book, you can come to this. You can open this book. So a lot of people were somebody was telling me, hey, look, don't include this one in the Book of Power. This shouldn't be in the Book of Power. Because this is just gossip. This is just gossip, right? Basically, Yosef Ben Yaakinin has this one of his later interviews where he starts divulging information about Malcolm X that a lot of us would not have known unless we were there. And to a large extent, what he says is that part of the breakup between Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X was that Elijah Muhammad, originally, so here's what happens in the Nation of Islam. If you wanted to get married, you had to go and get, you have to go get the blessings of Elijah Muhammad. You couldn't just marry a woman. You had to, it's like the pastor gives you the wedding, officiates your wedding. Elijah Muhammad was the God at this point, right? So what happens originally is that Malcolm X brings up some light skinned woman, right? And Elijah Muhammad decides to test her out. You know what I'm saying? Elijah Muhammad decides to test her out first. This is what Yosef Ben Yakin is saying. You could go look at the recording yourself. You could go listen to the recording yourself. But Malcolm X does not like that. And eventually he goes and gets himself a dark-skinned sister, Betty Shabazz. That's the story. All right? Either way, so I give you the context. I said, look, man, gossip is poor. Right? Real talk, we shouldn't be talking about gossip. Some of y'all heard that and y'all rolling your eyes. That's good for you. Rolling your eyes is probably painful. Right? But anyway, as Baba approached old age, he continued to engage in gossip. That's not good. Normally, these would and should be ignored. But in this instance, because here's the thing. At the time I was writing this book, I was dealing with my own cultists. Some people who were in a cult, who were, just being a cult. A sex cult on top of that, notwithstanding. So it's just like, I said to myself, it's not that important, the details, not that important, but I got to talk about cultists. Because I got to make sure that when we talk about empowering ourselves, that we also understand the reality. That we might have to deal with cults and sex cults that crop up because a lot of people are stupid. And we got to deal with it. The guy who attacks Zainab in the freaking hotel, that's stupid. She's there to close her door, live her best life, just enjoy her vacation. Then you attack her. For what? That's stupid. But you got to realize that there's a lot of people. You got to realize that the education level among our people, our education is not universal. Our skill, our talents are not universal, but our education is not really universal. A lot of people, there are a lot of families, white and black, right, where the father messes with his daughter. A lot of families. Where the brother messes with his sister. Where the cousin messes with their cousin and has children. A lot of this is going on in the world. And sometimes it's, like brothers and sisters and cousins, it's consensual. It's weird, but it's consensual. And, you say whatever. I don't really, whatever. That's weird. Not for me. But sometimes, like a father and daughter, or mother and son, or uncle and nephew. Uncle and, all right, well, that does happen. But uncle and niece, or aunt and nephew. Right? And, in their minds, listen to me, in their minds, it's consensual. You heard what I just said? Because again, if you don't have an because basically, essentially, and the reason why I say that, I say in their minds, right? If you, what happens is this: you are socialized, you are educated. A lot of us are educated to look at, let's say a man and a 12-year-old, right, or a 30-year-old and a 12-year-old as non-consensual, right? As if a 12-year-old. And that's fine. It makes sense. Like again, we're educated to think that. We're educated to believe that. But that's our education. From the perspective of a 12-year-old believes that they can consent to something. What school you want to go to? I want to go to James Woods. Somebody sent me a Family Guy clip. All right. I want to go to James Woods, right? Right? They believe they can consent. The same. The older man says, "Hey," the 30-year-old says to the kid, "Hey, what do you want?" She goes, "Hey, I want to marry you someday," right? He can say, "Well, that's stupid. You don't know what you want to do," or you can say, "Shit, I want to marry you too." And see what we have to realize is that, and so you and I hope, may believe, from our perspective, the man who says, "You don't know what the fuck you thinking, you don't know what you want," is the good guy. And the man who says, shit, I agree with you, I want to marry you too, is the bad guy. Right? But that's our mind. And we're not a universal entity with a brain span that goes across all of humanity. We're not a part of a network or a hive or what have you. And, for those of you nerds, Star Trek, they say we're not a part of the Borg or what have you. We are each individuals with our own education, our own thinking, our own development. And let's say you're 30 years old, right? But you only went through 7th grade or something, right? And you have a low reading level and you don't read and you just think on a basic level from when you did back in junior high school. Guess what? That 12-year-old might even seem bright to you. Might even, in your impression, if she's a 12-year-old valedictorian, you might think she's smarter than you. And guess what? She could be. Well, I wouldn't say smart. I mean, again, we might do intelligence and wisdom, but actually it's possible. Because if you remember what Francis Cress Welsing was saying about the emotional development of people, how it stops when they have children. The reality is this: if you're 30, like see me, you hear me when you hear me talk, you might be like, some of you actually think I'm older than I am, right? But how old am I again? Let me check. I think I'm 32. I think, right? I think so. Or 33, one of the two. But anyway, I'll have to do the math. Wait, what? How old am I? I think I'm 33. Yeah, I think so. All right. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that how I sound at 33, and then you could get another 33-year-old. Like for instance, you could get I don't know how old this dude is. Rihanna. Rihanna is my age too. And then there's also, I don't know how old Lil Wayne is, but Lil Wayne's another one. All three of us, right, sound different, think different, and think different in the situation. My point being, I actually don't know why I was ranting on this for so long, but my point being that a lot of people are stupid. But a lot of people are stupid, and they're not going to think the same way that we do. And you're gonna have to just accept that, and then organize accordingly. Either way, let's go back to this reading. Let me see if there were no comments for that. That was a long ass rant. Nobody would comment. All right, let's go into the reading. So it says, "Kind of poor." So normally this would be ignored, but in this instance, two interesting tidbits slip out. The first on people deciding with those who held their rent. It touches on the program of Boko Waset Nakiro. That is, we need the Ankobia to start holding rent and land, and Ankobia bachelors to hold industries to be attractable. You want to be attractive based off of your industries that you have, what's in your hand. This also touches on the bastard poem and the rape discussion Baba introduces as our enemies are economically able. Right? The other, however, deals with Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. So let's talk about this. The record has to stand that Malcolm X was, for 12 years, an active promoter of an anti-African, a-spiritualist, Eurasianist sex cult. That's what the Nation of Islam is. I know Mr. Untouchable likes the Nation of Islam. Right? I don't. And I'll tell you what an IS is. An anti-African, a-spiritualist, Eurasianist sex cult. He himself admits in 1964, "I shall never rest until I have undone the harm I did to so many well-meaning Africans." Innocent Africans. He says Negroes, of course, but you know what it is, right? "And I totally reject Elijah Muhammad's racist philosophy, which he labeled as a central, Islam, central Eurasian a-spiritualism to fool and misuse gullible people. He died shortly after, though, and the damage persists." And we continue with Stephen and be like, "Hey, this is Malcolm X." When he was, but anyway, we're going to go. And back in 1960, WP, he personally oversaw an actual KKK and NOI alliance. Now a lot of us accuse Marcus Garvey of, talking to the leader of the KKK. But you understand, I mean, look, I don't blame the Nation of Islam for this thing, but they did actually form an alliance with the KKK, right? Contrast this to Garvey's threat directly to whites and the KKK. So I'll tell you about the threat earlier. Carlos A. Cooks, one of the greater minds like maybe the third greatest mind of the 20th century, right? Third or second. Carl A. Cooks wouldn't even work with Malcolm. Malcolm had suggested they did by asking, why can't we get together? And Cooks responded, we'll get together when you get a program. Still, Malcolm is esteemed despite for years knowing that he was promoting Elijah Muhammad's anti-African white cooperatists, a-spiritualist, Eurasianist sex cult, and knowing Elijah Muhammad, despite his old age and marriage, impregnated at least 9 teenage girls. Who knows how many he sexually exploited or solicited, teenage and otherwise. Now, of course, teenage here could mean 19, 18, could mean younger. Okay? Either way, he was an old ass man. But nobody want to talk about that, right? Most people are going to say, well, it's healthy, it's consensual, like they do with this Nature Boy guy. But anyway, this on top of the colorism, he was a colorist, and the black hatred he promoted. Even highly esteemed people, they all esteemed this dude, Amos Wilson, promoted Elijah Muhammad as a result of Malcolm's activity. Amos Wilson called him the greatest psychologist we ever had. Despite that, Elijah Muhammad wasn't even a psychologist or an Africanist. See, essentially, Elijah Muhammad was a cult leader. And what's interesting is this, that there's actually this book by this white boy where he goes in on Elijah Muhammad. And he's like, yeah, this guy's a motherfucking cult leader. Cut from a cloth of all the cult leaders. But it is what it is. Let's go. The need for a program and a programmatic thought cannot be overstated. Moreover, it's fundamental that we understand the primacy of Medu Nefer, right? As for the revelation here, is that notwithstanding the predatory sexual exploitation, the cooperation with the KKK, the marriage infidelity, the financial exploitation of the black community, the contradictory undisciplined perversion, the anti-black and anti-woman sentiments, and much more, Malcolm X stayed faithful, still 70 years faithful to Elijah Muhammad. So what I'm telling you is this. So like if you listen to the interview, you're going to see this brother standing there talking about Nature Boy is good. He's a god. And yeah, he may have nudity, but everybody consented to having sex with him. He's saying like a whole queer. Anyway, this is the real world. The real world is that you have these people who are cultists. And the thing is this, you could look at Malcolm, you could say, a lot of people look at people in the hood and they're like, hey man, don't disregard the people in the hood because they could grow up just like Malcolm. And then at the same time, you look at this motherfucking cultist and you say, that's a piece of shit. But you have to understand that if you were going back in time, if you were the second hand to this Elijah Muhammad who was doing all these things I'm telling you about, predatory sexual exploitation, cooperation with the KKK, marriage infidelity, financial exploitation, contradictory undisciplined perversion, anti-black sentiments, anti-woman sentiments, and you standing right beside him. Now you a hero. So according to Baba, and this one is Dr. Ben Yakinen, he only broke away because Elijah Muhammad slept with his love interest. Can you imagine that? You say, hey, here's a woman I want to marry. Oh, let me see how she is. No, she ain't no good for you. You know, a lot of people would tell you that. In fact, some people were saying, hey, the only reason why Malcolm X was talking about these secretaries is because he introduced these secretaries to Elijah Muhammad. Feeling guilty. And even then, he didn't even denounce Elijah Muhammad thoroughly enough to reverse the views on him. Anyway, this shows us the danger of the cult mentality. I want you to understand. The image of Malcolm is a cautionary tale on naivete and the need to disassociate from a Scotty, like Elijah Muhammad. But although Elijah Muhammad is like a mulatto. But anyway, Malcolm X became an icon and his talking style is repeated by many Africans that followed but at what cost? Central Eurasian is spiritualist. And this is somebody told me this a long time ago when I was in my group, my meeting. She was so happy to be there at that point. She was like, when she was in Africa, right? Some East African country, right? I don't need to go into too much detail. Who cares, right? When she was in Africa, Arabs would approach her and say, come join Islam. And she'd be like, why should I join Islam? And they say, well, Malcolm X, great man. He's a Muslim. And, if he's a great man, shouldn't you be a Muslim too? And this is like real life in Africa. Real life in Africa. But, it is what it is. Let's keep going. Africans that followed The Central Eurasianists, a spiritualists promote their beliefs using. So Central Eurasianists are Arabs, right? Arab is spiritualist. That's Arab. That's Islam. Promote their belief using Malcolm's image and the anti-African Eurasianist sex cult multiplied and diversified. Cults come in a variety of forms. Not all of them are sex cults. Not all of them are anti-African or a-spiritualists, and some could seem pro-African and pro-African spirituality. But they all have Askari leadership. And this is where you, like Malcolm, can occur. Whatever you do, only involve yourself in programs of empowerment and empowering programmatic thinkers and leaders. Y'all see the difference between what I told you about Malema and Kagame? See, Malema and Kagame have programs. And when I highlighted them, I said, look at this program they have going. Okay? Kagame is like, hey, look, we're going to open up the center for the fourth industrial revolution. You see? That's a program. Kagame says, hey, we got to start thinking about having an independent economy. That's a thought per se, but it's an empowering programmatic thinker. We're trying to go towards an independent economy. Malema earlier, for those of you who are late, Malema earlier was telling us, hey, you got to think about owning in South Africa or welcoming in other African people to own more so that they can share more and give more and be more among us. That's the programmatic thinking. A lot of us don't want programmatic thinking. A lot of us want to just have conversations. We don't want to be involved in no programs. We want the system to be laid out and perfect. And if it's not perfect, we're like, well, I'll stay in the West. I don't give a fuck. I'll stay in the West. And I mean, that's a flaw. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Particularly the solution of Boko Baset Nakaru, more particularly the Ankopia. Don't wait for an Askari menace to step on your toes. Don't be blinded by a few good deeds or a few good words or even a few good promises or a few good works. The moment you notice Askari and leadership disassociate completely. And I mean, now some of you might be like, well, ain't that the people that we were just talking about? If you think so, that's the thing. If you think so, if you believe so, sure. If you believe so, sure. But again, your job is to put together a program for yourself. If you don't have a program for yourself, the reality is this: you ain't gonna have nothing anyway. Okay? So the moment you notice, just so you completely understand the African way of reciprocity and cast aside all who don't measure sufficiently. This is crucial. There are African groups who will appear Africanist but are Askari cults. Some may even seem to do good works. Just associate and do the work yourself. Do the work yourself. Undugu, listen. Your association, physical, verbal, or even digital, is power. Your aim is to empower Ankobia, Arkeru, those of Medunefer, nothing and no one else. Our mutual empowerment is the end-all, be-all. Power is everything. But empowering Askari is treason. Malcolm did not heed the first sign. Learn from his mistakes, heed and gain power independent of Askari, because Askari always turn against Africans. Heed, Undugu, heed. Okay? If you want to know what the words were that Elijah... And so this is all for this one paragraph, or these two paragraphs. This is Joshua Ben Yakinen. You can look at the link yourself. You can go look at the YouTube video and you can hear him say it himself. It's not my opinion. This is what Elijah Muhammad said. We had to fight many of the people with words because they had the economy against them. In the hands of Eurasians who fed and clothed them. Remember that. White boy feeds and clothes them. So you're not going to win against black folk. Because see, Dr. Ben Yakinen didn't win. We call him master teacher today. He did not win. He died poor and sickly and forgotten. He did not win. That's not a W. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. They're not gonna win in the West. No. People who ask us all the time, "Are you going to pay my rent? Are you going to feed me?" And they would go and decide with those who held their rent. See, that's what I'm saying. You have to. This is fundamental. We're not even paying attention. We talk all this wealth. We talk all the, like earlier we had this wealth distribution conversation. We have this wealth distribution conversation. Who's gonna pay your rent? Who's gonna feed you? If you can't pay somebody's rent, if you can't feed them, they're not gonna listen to you anyway. In fact, Lero's my sister from another mister. Lero would be like, hey, why should anybody be loyal to you? Blah 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 blah. You're loyal to whoever pays your rent and whoever feeds you. Everybody is. Everybody is. My son could say everything he wants. He could say all the shit he wants about me. He'd be like, hey man, dad, blah 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 blah. And you don't pay attention, blah 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 blah. Then dinner time comes around, he's like, what are we eating? I said, sit down and you're not gonna get no food. Yeah, he can stand up for 2 hours. And then 2 hours later, he gonna go sit down. So what am I gonna get? Anyway, so Malcolm X started to read after interacting with Elijah Muhammad while still in jail, but unfortunately he referred to himself as an Asiatic black man. That's what Elijah taught. So black men like me were put aside. You had to be light-skinned like Malcolm or Elijah. See, Malcolm's wife was a rarity. She was dark-skinned. She wasn't the first choice of Malcolm's. Malcolm married her as a substitute. She wasn't who he carried to Elijah for approval. When Elijah's son told Malcolm that one of the women Elijah got pregnant was one of Malcolm sent for his approval when Elijah was supposed to get her ready for the spiritual ministry, for the Muslim ministry, Malcolm was mad. Just saying. This is how cults do you. But, but that's what it is. Let's see what the comments are because we're doing this. Let's see. Islam, blah, blah, blah. Where is the Book of Ghana? Where's the Book of Ghana? I heard about Dr. Ben's story. What's the Book of Ghana? Let me see something. Where is this? I'm trying to look at the comments. So Islam is just as bad as throwing off Christianity. Yeah, Islam and Christianity are both bad. They're both bad. Both are focused outside of Africa. Oh, where's the Book of Ghana? Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. These are somebody else's ancestors telling them how to live. And we following around like idiots. But anyway, Bobby, you're right. I heard about that Dr. Ben story. Yeah, it's there. Someone linked the video in the chat. It's new to me. I'd have to look it up. Mr. Untouchable says, we love the different streams of consciousness you call rants, bro. That's not no rant, bro. This is a whole thing. Bitter Medicine says, was the whole of it a sex cult or was Elijah Muhammad having a sex cult? Like here's the thing. Like we have to be real about humans and the human condition. The reality is this. If you got a bunch of attractive women, like it's just like, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's always going to be, like, again, people are basic. People have desires. People have two eyeballs. Okay? If you go to the church, if the church, like everybody knows this. In fact, I remember one time I was like kind of sad. Well, not sad, but I was kind of like feeling like pretty single, right? My mother went around asking around church if anybody wanted to give their daughter to me. You know what I mean? Like the reality is people just gonna want to have sex. Regardless, if they are, and then here's the thing is that if you give them some sort of status and you don't prohibit it explicitly, people are going to have like that's the thing that's a part of the human experience, unless they're not, like, especially when people are not serious and they're not going anywhere with anything. When I was younger, I remember in the socialist camps, right? There was this division between the Stalinists and the Trotskyists. And one of the things that the Stalinists accused the Trotskyists of, that the Trotskyists who have the better message, people of the world unite and everybody's equal and civil rights and so on and so forth. Is this thing working? Anyway, civil rights and so forth, right? They're like, oh, all they do is have sex with each other. It's just going to be a normal thing when you're not really about nothing. While as the Stalinists, they weren't just about having sex with each other. They're about getting power. So I couldn't tell you, but what I could tell you is this. Like, let's say if you in a church and one of the women are submissive, but she got a nice body, you probably going to find a way to sleep with her. Because you're going to start going to bed and dreaming about her body. If you don't got nothing else going on, you're going to start dreaming about her body. You're going to start thinking about her body. You're going to start, your hands are going to feel you thinking of her body. And then eventually she's going to be looking at you a certain way. It's just a normal part of the human experience. This is why I want you to understand about the human experience. The human people, humans are just animals, like any other animals. You put two dogs, you get two cats. You get a male cat and a female cat. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna sleep with each other. Not because the cats really, if they had a choice, wouldn't be with them. If they had a choice, if they had the freedom, they probably wouldn't form any relationships. But because you have them in proximity, this is why there are interracial relationships. It's just a normal part of the human condition, unless you're disciplined against it. So Elijah Muhammad forms so Elijah Muhammad, yeah, they give him all this respect, all this power, all this attraction, and he's an old man, old pervert. So it is what it is. Bitmaster says y'all hit the like button, so make sure y'all hit the like button, please. It helps the algorithm, helps the rhythm. Real Bad Gentleman says Islam, Judaism, and Christianity all have paths that lead to a sex culture. Of course. Kofi says, remember, Amos Wilson says that Elijah was the greatest. Yeah. Mr. Tuttle says Elijah was no more a cult leader than Joseph Smith. And say what you want, but the state of Utah right now is a representation of what that white cult leader started. Man, I don't know who Joseph Smith is, but it sounds like a cult leader, so I don't know if that's a good point. Anyway, Mr. Touchable says, one could also say Islam started as a cult, that Muhammad was that's exactly what, that's what you should say. That's what I'm talking about. One could say that Muhammad was a pedophile. Dude, like the lady Aisha, I think her name is, was like 12 years old. You could say that he was a pedophile. I mean, I don't know too many people who are not pedophiles messing with 12-year-olds. Like what? What kind of counter argument is that? This dude was sleeping with a 12-year-old, so you gonna call him a pedophile too? Yeah. What? Anyway, what kind of counter argument is that? Leto says, I blame you for coining the term broke woke. You should write a book on that term. Yeah. I mean, did I coin it? I might have. That might be one of my originals. You're right. Mr. Untouchable says, when Dr. Ben died, he had a nice Christian burial ceremony. I scratched my head on that one. No, again, the reason being that was one of my earlier speeches too. That's in the Book of Power as well. It's also one of the. It's like on the top 10 list. You look at the top 10 list. It's like 11 videos, but you look at the top 10 list of the pro-black perspective. You can see one of them is talking about how to make $5,000 out of $5,000 a month or something like that. And in that video, we talk about why religion is like how there's like 5 rights of African people, right? And what happens is that the church has all 5 of them. Like these Abrahamic religions have all 5 of them. The right of passage, right? The right of adulthood, the right of eldership, right? The right of birth, or something or the right of marriage, or something like that. And then the right of death, or the right of ancestry, right? And so, who else is burying people? Because I'm not. I'll tell you this right now. I don't bury nobody. The only people that bury people are the church. We're not disposing of our elders. But the churches are. The religion, all the religions have that. So that was one of the things, I don't scratch my head at that. I understand. That Twitter question stems from that term, low key. Laugh my ass off. What Twitter? Oh, shit. You should have paid me my royalties. Talking about she wrote a whole Twitter question based off of my term. No, I'm joking. That's messing. Bitmaster says religious contradictions. Real by Gentleman says it took us 400 years to get our relative consciousness in the West where they are. It takes much longer to heal them, to injure, to get our so on and so forth. Bitmaster says, well, that is my point too. Most things will devolve into sex if you allow it. But was the whole entire organization based on sex, or was Elijah about sex? Elijah was about that. Elijah was about that shit. I mean, look, the reality is this, that, you could have, like I said, like with the Trotskyists, you could have some well-meaning things, but it depends on how you organize stuff. If you organize like Stalin or you organize like Trotsky, one of them is going, if you organize and you don't really have a goal, you don't really have a program, you're just a social club. Every social club, yeah, people are going to come into social clubs for different reasons. When I was going to the UAM, I mean, besides the fact that I was the youngest person, right? So I couldn't really, get nothing, obviously, right? But I mean, if there was another sister my age in that group, I would have wanted to chat with her. If there was a bunch of sisters in that group, that's a normal thing. Everybody, like a young person or an old person is going to want to, so on and so forth. So, I mean, it's not even a question of, like you said, would it have originally started off as, that's the thing about it. That's the thing. The reality is this, real talk, real human beings, right? they don't, like, until they get into the position, they're very likely not trying to, like, they're not predicting or looking to get that, get in that position in a sense. I mean, they're not like it's like a celebrity, like a celebrity, or like, let's say Lauryn Hill, right? Lauryn Hill, when she's in high school, probably wasn't all that bad. Maybe she turned a few heads, maybe she didn't, right? But now Lauryn Hill will turn some heads. Why? Because she's rich, and she's celebrity, So essentially, Elijah Muhammad becomes a celebrity, a local celebrity, and then women start throwing themselves at him, and he's like, shit, if you sell a bit, I'll buy a bit. You know what I'm saying? like that's how it is. I'm not going to, but notwithstanding that, the reality is this: that if that that's a human weakness that some people have and some people don't. But if you see that human weakness, right, then either you disassociate from it or you continue to associate with it. Right? But when you continue to associate with it, you're on the wrong. And it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. That's what happened to Malcolm. Okay? When you disassociate, like if I'm in a group and the leader is like, hey man, I'm going to sleep with all these women because they don't know better. Right? That's okay. Right? And you just like, you don't give a fuck, whatever, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to abandon my wife. I don't give a shit. Marriage is stupid. All that kind of stuff. If you sitting around waiting for, like what are you waiting for? So then now all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, that woman you brought over to me, yeah, I tapped her ass too. She's nice, right? Now you looking like a goofy. You understand? Now before Malcolm X, Nation of Islam was not a popping organization. Okay, before Malcolm X, Nation of Islam was not a popping organization, so there was no, like, it was just like probably just about that whole Islam shit. He's probably faithful to his wife and all that, so he probably wouldn't have no secretaries throwing ass at him. Okay, he probably wouldn't have nobody throwing ass at him, but eventually he would. Let's see. I think it says it took us 400 years to get out, and so forth. So he says, well, that is the question. Or was Elijah about sex? So Muslim Touchable says, LOL, your mom's was helping you out with dates. She needed to find a good Christian girl for you, bro. No, I mean, like, sometimes you just bring up the issue and then, you know how your mom's is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just say one thing and then, like, mothers want to help their kids. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell them anything. You could be like, man, I need some money. Then they will give you a job application. You know what I'm saying? If they don't give you the money, they'll give you a job application. I mean, it's like, you're like, hey, man, I wouldn't mind. Or I think what happens is I might have dated a woman and she might have did me dirty. And then I might have like ran the story by my mother and she might have been like, shit, you need a good Christian girl. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's just reality. And then like, it also happens the other way where, some ladies like need some citizenship in America. My mother came to me and said, well, you want to marry this lady for citizenship? Some shit. You know what I mean? Like that's just, again, your mothers are just human beings too. And they are your friends and they've cared for you and cared about you morally and socially from the time before you were born. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they're going to help you out. They're going to help you out with, as long as they're living, they're going to help you out. That's it. And your father, probably maybe to a lesser extent, but that's what it is. Like my son comes to me and talking about he need like my son when he get older want a girlfriend. I'm gonna tell him how to Mac. You already know. So anyway, so Elijah, so Bitter Master says, so the question is, do you fault Elijah beyond the underage stuff? Of course. Well, I mean the underage stuff is a big part of it, but yeah, I fault that motherfucker. The thing is that he was a whole hypocrite. He was a whole lie. He was a whole. I mean, look, if he was just a guy off the street, doing all this dumb shit, you might be like, whatever. But if he's this man walking around telling everybody to call him a god, and Malcolm X is joining in there, right? He's telling everybody to call him a god, and then meanwhile he's sleeping with every other woman he could find, and while pimping them out because they too dumb to recognize as a cult when they see it. You understand? Of course, you blame the motherfucker. Like I don't believe in exploiting people, notwithstanding how dumb they may be. And I mean, of course, there is a point where and of course, he might be a dummy himself. So that might be, a part of the recipe there. But again, like, notwithstanding, that's just like, nah, I don't like dummies. Period. Mr. Touchable says Joseph Smith started the Mormon movement, bro. Yeah, I don't really know too much about the Mormon movement. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think all religions are low key cults, so I don't know how that would not be a cult. But you know, like, it is what it is. Like, I can't really say that. Like, I don't really know the Mormon movement like that. Nor do I care about the Mormon movement like that. You know, I'm quoting Dr. Yakinen, and I'm quoting Malcolm X. Malcolm X said that Elijah Muhammad was doing this shit. You know, like that's probably the most important sentence you got, where he says, what does he say? Where it go? It says, "I shall never rest until I've undone the harm I did to so many well-meaning innocent Africans." And I totally reject Elijah Muhammad's racist philosophy, to which he to fool and misuse gullible people. Again, he had people calling him God. This guy, Nature Boy, has people calling him God. He's running a sex cult. Nature Boy's running a sex cult. And again, Nature Boy tells you, hey, I wouldn't believe this was happening to me because I'm just a guy from the hood. Elijah Muhammad's just a guy from a little farm. Now, does he say does he initially say I'm going to design an organization in order that eventually a bunch of women are going to throw their ass at me? Probably not. Does Nature Boy say I'm going to design a society so that a bunch of women are going to throw their ass at me? Probably not. What they do is they give false promises, okay, and then exploit people's gullibility and their beliefs in the supernatural towards sleeping with them. You understand? And I mean, sure, you might be like, well, that's on them. How could you be so stupid to believe in this supernatural and then, you know, sleep with this old ass fart? Yeah, I mean, it is. But I'm not going to, like I said, everybody has a part to play in a crime scene. You know? Everybody has a part to play in a crime scene. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's pass on to the next one. This is the Black Woman Therapist. I actually only saw the first video. I was thinking about watching it live with the rest of y'all, but I ain't gonna watch this shit. I ain't gonna hold y'all. We just gonna watch maybe the first one. It's just a pass me. You know how pass me's are.
Here's this thing that I've noticed. So I'm a therapist, licensed psychologist. I work with women, primarily Black women, and I work with a handful of couples. Couple revelations. I haven't seen any of my couples this week. And I realized that my energy at the end of the week was different, notably different. And I connected it to the fact that it's because I'm not seeing the couples. And the couples that I'm currently working with are all heterosexual couples. And the emotional labor for me to see the men in the relationship as full, whole human beings who are deserving of love and empathy is sometimes overwhelming because of the way that I see them engage with their women partners and the way that I see the women partners overcompensate for their male partners' lack of empathy, lack of compassion, lack of emotional intelligence, lack of responsiveness, lack of accountability. It's exhausting. Women who are in love.
All right, so look, y'all could actually listen to this on your own. This is a whole thread, just several examples. Total pass me. But here's the thing about this, right? I want you to understand this. This is the thing that I think I actually commented on this, actually. I think the comment might suffice. Yeah, this shit's going to be wild. Because you see, that's what's going to happen. It's not even going to be me. See, Twitter should have, see, this is what I'm saying. I would recommend Twitter just fix this where I could see my thing first. But I guess I can't. Or maybe I commented on afterward. Let me see. Maybe I commented afterward. Let's see. Oh yeah, here it goes. So lack of empathy isn't a gender thing, okay? However, men and women do naturally have different emotional triggers. And any professional who doesn't recognize this should not participate in therapy due to their clear subjectivity. the classic dispute is how clutter affects the sexes, right? So I was actually talking to a sister about this, a female about this, sister about this, right? And it just sounds weird when you're talking about relationship. But anyway, I talked to a sister about this, and here's the thing about me. I'll tell you this right here, right? Let's say I eat some food, right? I eat some food in the morning, right? I might I got disposable plates. I don't really like washing plates, right? So I might use that plate again. Okay, I don't know. If I didn't really let's say I had a sandwich on the plate. Now I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you I only eat sandwiches, but say I had a sandwich on the plate. I don't really feel like that plate something I need to throw out right away, right? Now here's the thing. I might even eat dinner later. 2 hours, 3 hours later, I might eat dinner later on that same plate. Okay? You can't do that with some sisters. You understand? Now, if you eat from a plate of food and you just leave it on the table, right? Or you just leave it in front of you, and just leave it alone, right? A sister might say, hey, look, why don't you fucking clean up after yourself? You understand? Now, it's a different emotional trigger. You understand? So what happens is this, right? Now here's the thing. Now a male therapist who is sympathetic to the male, right, is going to see the situation of a man leaving his plate in front of him, right? Leaving the plate in front of him and coming back to get it later, right? Because like me, I like to personally clean up at the end of the night. Clean up everything at the end of the night, which might not be the best thing, but that's how I do it, right? A male therapist might be like, hey, that's how he cleans. That's his cleaning philosophy. He's not saying fuck you, because see, the woman's gonna go there and say he's saying fuck me. He's saying fuck you. Pick up my plate, cause I ain't gonna do it, right? And so she gonna go to a therapist. She gonna go to the male therapist. The male therapist gonna be like, hey, hold on a second. He didn't say all that. He just left his plate because he might reuse it. She's like, well, what about the fact that he had cheese sauce? He ain't gonna reuse the cheese sauce plate. Well, you don't know that. He might not. He don't know when he set it down. He set it down to he picked up his food to eat, some food to watch a movie. The movie finished. He didn't just he finished the food finished before the movie. He didn't just pick it up. After the movie, he decided to look on the internet, investigate. He wasn't that bad, right? Okay, that's what happened, right? Now, so the male therapist is gonna kind of, you could almost say gaslight, but not really. The male therapist is gonna understand how the man is. Now the female therapist, how's she gonna do? Well, she's gonna see the same situation, and she'll be like, why don't you help with the housework? Right? And the man's gonna be like, well, I mean, I didn't really think I was making that much of a mess. It's just a plate. And she goes, well, yeah, but you also left your cup. You left the fork. Those are a lot of things. And you're basically telling your wife, fuck you, because you're telling her to pick it up. And he's like, well, I didn't really say to pick it up. Well, then who should pick it up? Well, I'll pick it up. And when will you pick it up? Because she's now making dinner, right? She's making dinner. And what do you want her to serve you food on your plate right now? No. What if I wanted a snack? So you want a snack while your wife's cooking? She's already cooking. There's no more snack time. So you should pick it up right as soon as she starts cooking. Well, I don't know. I was in the middle of my show. I was in the middle of my game. I was, I was entertaining myself. Well, then you basically were just telling her to fuck you and telling that she should just work like a damn slave. Because eventually, if you don't pick it up on time, she's going to pick it up. She's going to throw it out. And you're just giving her extra work. And she's busy. And so on and so forth. And so as a man, you're going to be gaslit into, the workable solution. See, because again, so to the male therapist, the workable solution is, hey, you know what? If he doesn't pick it up after a certain time, then you should discuss it with him, right? And the woman therapist, the workable solution is, well, you know what? No, you should pick up your plate right after you finish. Every time you finish, pick it up right then and there. At most 30 minutes, right? That's the timeline. And they both unsympathetic to the fact that men and women look at the same situation differently, right? Unsympathetic to the fact that men and women look at the same situation differently will cause the other person, the other gender, to be wrong or to feel wrong. You know what? The first woman, the woman, the male therapist is going to walk out the solution saying, you know what? Maybe I am harassing you over a plate and I shouldn't. And, maybe if anything else, I could just pick it up. Like, who cares? You're just leaving it because of whatever, right? And the female therapist might be like, hey, you know what? Get the man to say, you know what? Maybe I am wrong, and I'm so on and so forth. Now that's the issue with going into a situation, or a therapeutic situation, or a therapy session, without understanding the deeper psychological differences between men and women. You understand? It's like when bit of medicine right now just kind of low key psychoanalyzing whether Elijah Muhammad was a whole creep or not, right? And it's like, look, if you got this old ass ugly dude, no disrespect to the dude, but you got this old ass ugly dude, and now women are suddenly throwing ass at him, you know? Suddenly, oh my God, I want you, I want your body. Oh, could you give me your Holy Spirit? You know, all that shit, right? You got this old ass ugly dude, right? You think he's going, you know, is he going to turn down that ass? You know, and sometimes you got to be like, hey, look, you know, now the thing is this, that if you're purporting to be a man of faith and a man of character and a man of self-discipline, then of course you got to turn down that ass. You know what I mean? Like I've had these meetings, right? And I like for instance, when I was married, matter of fact, I remember, matter of fact, that's what happened. So I was married, and yeah, but like here's the thing you gotta understand, that women used to throw their ass at Muhammad Ali. No, what's his name? Well, he used to throw their ass at Malcolm X. They also used to throw their ass at Khalid Muhammad. They throw their ass at Umar Johnson. You know, women like men with good character, and a lot of times these men show themselves as exemplar characters. But I'll tell you this: when you got good character, you have to exercise it accordingly. You understand? You have to have good character through and through. So yeah, when I was in this organization, even though I didn't have a big organization, you know, I would talk that good talk, but I was married, right? So there was some fine sisters coming through. Fine. But me, as a married man, you know, if they threw their ass at me, I'd say, hey, look, you know, I'm married. You know what I mean? I can't, so on and so forth. And they were like, oh, okay. And disappeared. You understand? And it's like, okay, well, that's fine. Because, you know, happily married. Well, not happily married. I was married. Right? Happily divorced. Anyway. But that's the reality. So that's the difference. The difference is that, you know, if you purport to be a man of character, then sure, you know, you're going to come into, if you come into these positions that people empower you to be in, where you can, like, for instance, like I said, you know, you're a man of character. Here's what it is. A lot of money, like you're in a big organization, a lot of money is going to be right in front of your face, right? You're a man of character. You know, now the thing is this: money right in front of your face, and you got to feed your kids, or your kids want a new gaming system, or you want to live in a big ass house. You could just dip into it, like Black Lives Matter did, and like Elijah Muhammad did. You look at Elijah Muhammad's mansion. This bum ass motherfucker, how he get this big ass house anyway? But you know, my point is this: if you're a person of character, you got a lot of money coming in front of you, and you say, look, I only take what is due me. I only take my salary. I only take my paycheck. Nothing more. I don't care if it's $1 million. I don't care if it's $2 million. I don't care if it's $3 million. I don't care if it's $3 billion going under my nose. I'm only going to take my salary. Right? However, that's not what you saw with Elijah Muhammad. I'll tell you that. Okay? That's not what you see with a lot of, you know, that's not what you see with this guy from the BAN of the week in Uganda. That's not what you saw. What you saw, or what you see, is black folk without that sort of real discipline, without that real character, without that real wisdom. And then some same black folks still, well, you know, shit, they ain't really like, you know, can you blame them? Yeah, I blame them. I mean, sure, you might say, hey, look, Oni, you ain't never had $3 million going on under your nose. That's cool. That's true. And the reality is this, that the test may come too late. When I finally see $3 million and I say, wait, hold on a second. Where you going with that bag? Because I told you about Al Sharpton. That's happened to Al Sharpton. When he, especially the group of, you know, the hats, if you will, they were offering, they were offering Alton Maddox and And Al Sharpton a bunch of riches, a bunch of money to betray the movement. And Al-Maddox said, hey, look, I can't be bought. Al Sharpton was like, hey, look, let's have this conversation without Alton. There's a difference. And I'm not saying that, and white people will tell you, look, everybody got a price tag. And I'm not going to say that everybody don't. I don't know. I remember one time this white boy was telling me, telling some white girl, Trump could sleep with you. He got enough money to sleep with you. And this white lady was like, no, he can't. And I don't know. But the reality is that, yes, you blame the individual who is out of line all the time. But yeah, in regard to the therapy session, so the Tanzan said it was a good therapy session. Power requires discipline, and Real Black Jenna says power needs resources. Yeah, but like at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we all have our character, and like I said, there's with regard to the gender differences and so on and so forth. That's the real world. The real world is that everybody has their own triggers. Everybody has their own triggers, among other things. And women and men have to understand that. But anyway, that's about all I wanted to say about this. I was going to real talk. I was going to play all that shit, but I'm not even interested. If you're interested. Oh wait, was that all the shit? Was that everything? Ah, shit, I didn't even know that. Shit. Okay, so that was it. That was actually the whole damn podcast. I forgot. That was the last one to pass me. So, all right. So, we went over it. That was it. Anybody have any questions, any comments, or whatever? But that was the whole podcast. Maybe I should have played this shit, but it's all good. She looked like she sounded annoying, And the men in these comments have proved their point, But again, her whole thing was that she doesn't look at us as humans. And it's like, that's not a thing that you should even believe or articulate. But Bit of Medicine says, 2 good thoughts there. Power needs resources, but also requires discipline. Yeah, and that's the thing. The discipline that you have and the tasks that are set forth, like I said, in my organization, yeah, women were throwing ass or whatever. And I was just like, nope, it can't be me. Because, at the end of the day, you have to understand that ultimately, so on and so forth. Now, when I was single, I did try to, get a little bit of action. It was, I could see the allure, but yeah. So back to the idea of the allies, though, right? And so remember, allies are not necessarily allies. It just means that you might have a friend when you get to Africa. Okay, you might have a team when you get to Africa. You might, let's say you get a good nation, or let's say you're not a part of one of their nations, right? You might be able to extend a helping hand, or have a helping hand extended to you if all works according to plan, right? And I mean, sure, we could be really rigid and say, well, I don't like the fact that there's this one white person in the office, right? But again, if you're working for white people right now, wait till you get your independence. Wait till you get your, before you start looking at another person's independence, look at your own. Okay? Look at your own. If you not working for no white folk and you running a nation somehow, right? Let us know. We'll put you up. Right? But if we're gonna be realistic, a lot of the black folk in the West working for whitey right now. If I had the same podcast, and not too many people listen to me right now. If I had the same podcast on Monday, 11 a.m., all of y'all busy with this white boy. Okay? Well, not really. I mean, because a lot of y'all are Caribbean and stuff, but still. But my point is that, we got to be real when we talk about, the standard we hold other people to. This sister used to tell me, she was a part of Carlos A. Cook's organization. And actually, it's a quote inside of his book, too, where he says, and I didn't really agree with her when she first said it, but she said, Carlos A. Cooks would tell us to weigh the good versus the bad. And if the good outweighs the bad, follow them. Okay? So I think maybe possibly I could actually pull up that book. Let me see. So if y'all don't know about the Carlos A. Cook's book, actually, hold on a second. If y'all don't know about the Carlos A. Cook's book, what I want you to do is get you a download of that book. Let me just let me see if I could switch it over to Carlos A. Cook's. If y'all don't know about the Carlos A. Cook's book, make sure you guys go and copy. Let's see if I can find it quick, fast, like what they call it, Ramadan. Quick, fast, like Ramadan. All right. Let's see. So if you go to my page, right? First off, you can go to my Discord. Make sure you guys check out the Discord. Make sure you guys subscribe and like this, share it with other people and all that kind of stuff. Here's the Carlos A. Cook's reader. You can get it free. Not too many people can give you a book for free. This is the whole book. Technically, I can open it in Google Docs, but you can also just scroll down. It's 161 pages, or more than 161 pages, really. But I think it's like multiple books. I edited it together. Let's see if I could find. Yeah, so you see Carlos A. Cook's. So we're going to go to like the back of the book because it was like one of his parting lessons. And not the back of the PDF, but the back of his book because, again, it's like multiple books. Oh, yeah, so right here. And so, yeah, so this is like toward the end of the book. So it's excerpts from the last message of Carlos A. Cook's. And I think this is where he might say, oh, yeah, so look at this. Right here. So there is no perfect man. All right, so this might be a little too small for you guys, actually. Let's see if I could. See, the thing is, oh, here's the zoom button. The thing is, I'm not trying to lose this page because it's not like the PDF. There is no perfect man. All men have their vices and frailties. You can light a lantern on the Sahara Desert in the daytime and you still won't find a perfect man. If a man's virtues outweigh his vices, he can be used. If his vices outweigh his virtues, get rid of him. Okay? And I mean, of course, everything is subjective. You know, some of you will listen to all that I said about Elijah Muhammad and how he accomplished nothing, really. But you'll listen to that and be like, well, his virtues outweigh his vices. You could think that. Okay, that's good for you. That's for me. I couldn't say that, but that's good for you. But as far as these allies that we have, you know, we have to remember that we have to go about with programs. You know, Carlos A. Cook told you the Nation of Islam was not about no program, right? Really didn't have a program. They just, like, realistically speaking, it was just a fucking sex cult. Just a social club, you know, just where black folk could go and pretend like a church, right? You know, you say what you want about the Mormon church, although I don't really give a shit about the Mormon church, but, you know, if they have their own community, it's different, you know? And not to say the Nation of Islam wasn't trying to have their own community. But again, it's just different. But I mean, like, again, I don't really know the Mormons, so I don't really care about the Mormons. What I could say is this, though. Malema has a space and a program in South Africa. Kagame has the freaking nation. Okay? And is building universities, building centers for the fourth industrial revolution, focusing on the artificial intelligence front, doing all those sort of things. You have to understand where and what you can do and where and what you can't do. You know, if you want to be a part of the future of Africa, you know, you have to look at who is really actively doing stuff to impact that future. And who's really just doing stuff to play around. See, the white boy, like I think Mr. Touchable was bringing up this white boy in the Mormon church. See, the Mormon church is already, the white boy is already free in America. You understand? So it don't really make a difference. The black man's not going to be free in America. And that's the difference. You know, the white boy says, you know what, let's form, like I have this, there's this video on Discord. It's called land ships. You know, we talk about economics and economy and all that kind of stuff. These land ships are this idea that you can build a home that uses your waste and your garbage to circulates, like reuses it, recycles your waste and your garbage. Okay? So that now you got clean water from flushing the toilet or some shit like that, right? It's weird. It's like an independent economic system, so on and so forth. If you have land ships, you can do differently if you don't have land ships, right? But again, this white boy can form a land ship community, he can form whatever because he's free. Where are you free? Real Black Jenna says, I truly hope Africans don't fall into the too clever by half trap. Yeah. I don't know what that trap is, but yeah. Bit of Medicine says book and magazines. Yeah. That was the whole book is. It's books and magazines. But all right, family. I think, Real Black Jenna says power providing or withdrawing existential resources. Okay. That's power. And then Kofi says good stream. So thanks, Kofi. I appreciate it. Oh, Lenny Curve's back. She says, we keep playing. We can really make our world if we are motivated. That's it. If we're motivated, but we playing games. We playing games. We just playing games, and that's the sad part. But it is what it is. Thank you everybody for coming through. I see the comments are slowing down, but appreciate it. I'll try to. I wish I had some fan Africanists in some things because that's how I like to end it. But not really too much this week. But until next week, Shemiam Hotep, Anku Jah Seneb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua Necha.